Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? Okay, I've been going through the Adelson calls, trying to build up a picture, and I think I found the two best versions, the two best videos of Charlie Adelson saying to Donna Adelson, without saying it, Wendy did this. If it hadn't have been for Wendy, we never would have got caught. My part in the conspiracy was bulletproof. You played a killer hand. And, Wendy driving down Trescott got us all caught, and her book. Got to get back to reading her book soon, folks. Any minute now, we're going to be reading her book. But tonight, we're going to be listening to some of these calls from our good friend, Pretty Lies and Alibis. I actually listened to a whole show of, what's her name? The girl in What You Know, Alibis. I thought it was very good, actually. I thought she did a great show. It was so refreshing to see a creator that actually told a story, that actually took you through points. Because I don't know, I mean, a lot of them at the moment, I can't even watch anymore. I get about 30 seconds in and I just can't do it. I just can't listen to certain voices. It just bothers me. I don't know where I rank personally on that scale. Somewhere near the bottom, perhaps. But anyway, Charlie Adelson's voice is what counts, and that's what we're going to be listening to tonight. Tanya, hello. Michael Kennedy, welcome back. Carrie Brooke, big welcome back. And Teresa Dorsey. Good to see you, Teresa. Okay, are we going to play this with subtitles? I don't know if let's see how we get on.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Charlie.
An incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey guys.
Hey, Charlie.
How you doing?
How are you?
We're okay.
Good.
Yeah.
They let me take a shower. So I
Oh, good.
got out of the cell for 10 minutes and took a shower. And went back into my cell.
Okay. Dan said it could be 48 hours till you get out of that.
Oh, really?
They let me take a shower. They let me stand in a cold cubicle with spongy shoes on for 10 minutes, and it was great. And then back into the cell.
Yeah. I spoke to him earlier.
Yeah, supposedly the chief was supposed to see me today. He didn't see me, so I guess he wanted probably one for Don.
The chief? Chief Mack? I'm sorry, Charlie. Chief Mack was called away to a Code 10 brisket emergency. Have we got a picture of Chief Mack? A couple of his knucklehead pitmasters knocked over a whole barrel of his signature marinade, and he's going to be gone for the next 48 hours building up another batch. The brisket comes first. Have we got a picture of Chief Mack that we could pull up? I just love him so much. We've got to get working on those sauces and marinades, guys. Chief Mack barbecue products. I was thinking about Chief Mack the other day. And do you really think that there's any chance that he doesn't, double up the use of his, what do you call it? The jailer's belt with all the utilities. On the weekdays, he's got the cuffs, he's got the pepper spray, the keys, and all the other stuff that you find on a jailer's belt. But at the weekend, he takes it home. And he takes all of that jail stuff out and he fills the belt with, a real nice set of barbecue tongs, something handed down through generations of macerations. What else could you have? Tongs, burger flipper, maybe some kind of, what do you call it? Liquid smoke spray. Well, he doesn't use that. He doesn't use liquid smoke. He goes for 100% authentic mesquite. Let's see if we've got a picture of the man himself. Oh, we've got a couple of pictures of Chief Mack. Yeah, here he is attending a conference with the notorious Dr. Zapp. Look at him there in all his glory. 5-star barbecue pit master. Chief Mack, everybody. Give it up for Chief Mack. One more picture of the man. Well, now, we soak the pork shoulder in apple cider, and it sweetens the taste. Just love him. Can we leave him? Well, let's not leave him up. We've seen him once. We've seen him a million times on this show. You kidding?
Never see me first, come by and see me. Probably just
Right.
protocol, you know?
I would think so.
Yeah.
That would make.
So, and I got in here yesterday at 6 o'clock, so hopefully by tomorrow night.
Yeah, because it's really like just 24 hours then. Okay. Okay.
So at some point tomorrow, they'll probably move me out, I guess.
Yeah. I would think
Because
so.
then it'll have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense for me. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to let you know. Can you look on your phone now, please? Can you, or after, then call me back and tell me how much is in your account?
For telephone, it's probably like $75 or something.
Oh boy, you gotta get that in.
Well, no, because I had $13 and you got 100 the other day. That's probably the first. I've been on the phone a bunch. And I got 75 on my commissary.
75. Do you need commissary money?
Yeah, put 100 on the commissary and 100 on the phone, and then I'll be good for a while.
Okay, 100. Okay. All right, got it. Yeah. So that's
Rick and Sue stayed for a while.
They're wonderful. They ate nothing. They had a glass of water, and they stayed here from the last phone call you made to me. They left, what, about a half hour ago?
That's it. Yeah.
Maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. They've been here.
They ate nothing? What has that got to do with anything? They've come over to assist with the I don't know, what, the appeal or just moral support? And by the way, can we have a sandwich? What kind of mustard do you have? Do you have whole grain? I'd like half whole grain and half honey Dijon. Can we do that? Can we do that? Do you have the good ham? Do you have the good ham? You know, they ate nothing. They wanted nothing. They had a glass of water. It wasn't even chilled. Okay, what are you talking about? I guess you guys want the subtitles, right? I just didn't have time to generate them myself. We only just made it for 9:30 p.m. tonight, folks. And it's been too long. We just had to get something out there. So we'll have to rob the subtitles, but it looks real messy, doesn't it? I mean, I could hide it, but frankly, with no disrespect to Pretty Lies and Alibis, I like my thumbnail better. So we'll just cope like this, I guess, but it's a bit of a mess. Or if no one cares about the subtitles, tell me in the comments.
Here hours and hours and hours. But they truly helped tremendously, especially Susan. So, yeah, that was good. That was good, Charlie. So trust me, everything is fine in that regard.
Yeah, in that regard, in the regard that Susan didn't demand a multi-mustard good ham sandwich, and in that regard, of course, your sentence, not great.
All straightened out.
All straightened out, all taken care of. I feel better.
That makes me feel better.
I thought so. So, yeah. Roman's going to be fine. Bree's going to be fine. She'll be able to take good care of him. He'll have everything he wants or needs. So, you know, you've done that. She's done that big time, way over the top even, that needed to be done.
Yeah.
So he's fine. And I didn't talk to Bree today. I think she texted me once, but I'll talk to her tomorrow. Really, so many people are calling, and I'm not taking calls, so just don't feel like it. So really, I only called Rick and Sue because we really, really needed them. And other than that, I only talked to you and Dan. So for the next couple of days,
no, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're better off make sure you're taking some Xanax. You don't stress out too much about stuff.
No, we're good. We're taking what we need and we're good. So only care about you.
Sound a little better. I'm fine. I guess the big thing I guess is moment. Outside of that, I handle everything pretty good.
I know that. And in time, because he doesn't know where you are, he's going to be okay, and it will get better. It's just right now, it's just 24 hours old. It's just too fresh.
Because I got to deal with this all in 24 hours. I'm fucking shocked. Like it's a shock going from Sunday to today. Literally Sunday, I'm giving away all my food and like feeling like, you know what, everything came in the way it should have. Dan is an expert at closing. Closing is his specialty. He's gonna go in there and kick some ass. And like it was Wendy's book making fun of the people of Tallahassee.
Yeah, it was Wendy's book making fun of those idiots. I mean, another thing that comes up in this is it's so funny because what they're trying to say on the call is like, we don't hate Tallahassee. And then the next line is like, you know what I think those jury couldn't get through their tiny minds? Their tiny pea-brain Tallahassee minds. Hey, Jane, thanks for becoming a member. Welcome, Jane, to the membership. Great stuff.
As a small shit town on the way to her big time Miami. Like, holy shit.
Nonsense. It was stupid nonsense. It was just nonsense that they did.
It wasn't the case. Like, it wasn't the case. It was a Dateline special with horrible photos that would make anybody sick and angry. And then cut and paste things out of context. Like, sentences have no meaning when they don't have a context. Like, what was said before and what was said after. Otherwise, it's just words. Like, is there an explanation? You're not giving an explanation. You're just cut and pasting words that look bad. Like, I gave an explanation. I gave context. I gave meaning to what I was saying. Like, they're sitting there. Yeah, they're sitting there going, Donna's got crazy emails. Wendy's writing a book. And what is the name of that town? Like,
what does it have to do with anything?
Because it showed that she was like, thought she was so smart and so much better than everybody else, and putting Tallahassee down as a small stop on the way to civilization. Like, she's leaving Tallahassee and she's going to Miami, and she's foreshadowing it in a book, and she's making fun of you people from Tallahassee. And look at these crazy emails. And there's code, there's a TV, there's no fucking TV code, but TV, like, holy shit. Like, this was made for like a fourth grader, Dateline, 2-hour special, with a southern accent from Tallahassee. Like,
Hey, just on the TV thing, we got the report, the written report from the TV repair guy, Robert Schwartz, I think. Let's pull it up. It's kind of interesting. You know, it's taken the day off, handwritten by him. Where is it? Do. Save. How do I save? Scanning for viruses. Well, are you scanning? Doesn't look like you're scanning. Well, let's just screenshot this puppy. So Robert tells us, upon arriving at client's home, client stated there were lines in TV. Upon inspection, informed her there was impact damage, and although she did not get distraught, you could see in her face she was upset, sad. Remember her saying her son said he didn't do it, but she wasn't there. He was being watched by her dad at the time. Went over costs of replacement. Client stated TV was a gift from brother at some point. I believe she was texting him or someone. Talked to client about prices. She stated she would speak with someone, and I left with the intent to call later about decision. And something I thought that was interesting is Wendy's birthday is April 22nd, 1979, and this guy's birthday is April 4th, 1979. I mean, that they're almost the exact same age. I mean, that's close. That's 18 days apart. And the appointment was on the 18th. Ooh. Yeah, strange stuff.
And remember, it was your best friend Ryan Fitzpatrick saying this, and even his sister said this on the stand. Like, even she, who should be his biggest defender in the whole world, even she is saying this. Guys, come on, you're smart. You're smart people from Tallahassee. Just, you know what's going on here. Y'all know what's going on. Like, I turned to Kate and I go, this is not good. Like, this is not. I never in a million years pictured it being a show.
Hello, Leslie. What's Leslie saying here? Leslie is saying, is Wendy trying to say Dan was babysitting the boys at her house? No. It said dad, didn't it? The boys were being watched by her dad at the time. So Harvey was supposedly babysitting the boys at her house while Wendy was out with a client.
I know. And
Like,
as far as what Dan did, it was a brilliant closing. It made sense. It was organized.
She belittled it, and she came back and she said, it's not like puzzle pieces. It ain't puzzle pieces. Guys, you know what's going on here? She's writing a book. She doesn't even believe her brother. Listen to what she said. She didn't say.
Okay, Leslie, you thought it said their dad. Let's double check it. But she wasn't there. He was being watched by her dad at the time. It's her. Okay.
Believe them. They're making that up and then putting that in there and then taking a few words out of context and making it out to be like, hey, look, even she doesn't believe me. Come on, Tallahassee people, you're smart. Like, this isn't like, what I saw there was like, holy shit. Like, these people are going to eat this up. Like, this is, they would have convicted my dog if they brought my dog up there.
They would have convicted my dog if they put my dog on the stand. Hey, don't worry, Charlie. He's next. Fucking Bubbles. Arrest him. He's an unindicted co-conspirator. You know? Bubbles. You know, the Tallahassee PD have got a file on him a mile wide. You know?
Fucking A, bro. I'm gonna fucking fuck up whoever the fuck you fucking with me.
Hey, on the mountain. Thank you for the coffee. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back. We've had a lot going on, but yeah, good to be back. Thank you for the coffee on the mountain.
No, what happened, Charlie, is that nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. They didn't care.
It's also the way it was presented. It wasn't like they were presenting facts of the case versus facts of the case.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. No one's been talking about Bubbles, have they? His role in this. It's all, when is Wendy going to be arrested? Oh, she's putting her assets into a trust. Oh my God. Yeah, well, what about Bubbles' assets? Where are those? We know the truth, Bubbles. Justice is coming.
They even said, like, our key witness, you don't have to believe her. Well, who the fuck else are you going to believe if you can't believe the key witness? Like, witnesses, real people showing up, asking questions, seeing if they're truthful on the stand. No, that don't matter. Look at done.
Oh, by the way, I've completely forgotten to address my prediction. My prediction. Do you know how great it feels to be right 100% of the time? Where every shot you make is a perfect bullseye. Everything you touch turns to solid gold. Okay? The trial will be continued, just as I predicted. And that works out real great for me for reasons I might explain at some later stage. Time-wise, at least. Anyway, I mean, a September trial would fit with a timeline perfectly, perhaps. So great news. And, I was just so happy that I got it right, all those who doubted me, eat your words, everybody.
Emails. Like, Charlie's buying his dad catering for the birthday party. Like, no, it must be something else. No, it was paella. I remember I paid for it. Like, they're trying to pull it over on you guys. You're smart. You guys know. I mean, like, beyond a reasonable doubt should be like, for a case like this, should be like, what happened.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that, Charlie. I mean, the judge explains what reasonable doubt is. Not a mere possible doubt. Could it be? Not good enough. It's quite clear in the jury instructions before they go to deliberate. I love how Donna and Charlie are just suddenly an expert on. Donna's all like, oh, no, they listen to nothing. They listen to nothing. It was beyond them. We know what happened. They went back. They didn't deliberate. They're supposed to go back there and I think, usually what happens, right? We all saw 12 Angry Men. They go back and there's a show of hands to see where people are at, usually, right?
Fucking A, bro. I'm gonna fucking fuck up where the fuck you fucking with me.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy, for the 8 cups. 8 cups of pure gold. Thank you, Amy. What did Amy say? Let's look it up. Amy said, "Hi, everyone. Welcome back, boss." I think that's me. "Sorry I'm missing the live. My mom is at my place and she says hello to the TCM community." And then 3 hearts. Thank you so much, Amy, for the nice message and cups of coffee. What was I saying? Yeah, there's a show of hands, right? I mean, if everyone's thinking the same thing, why there's no need to deliberate. They don't go back there and retry the case for the sake of it. They have to come to a unanimous decision. If they go back and realize that everyone is at a unanimous decision, there's no requirement for them to go over the wiretaps. Don't take my word for it. Go to the wiretaps. You know, they don't need to. That would just be a waste of time. But obviously Donna knows better.
Not like you hate these mighty people who think they're better than you, right? You're arrogant, who think they're untouchable. Who said I was arrogant or untouchable?
I know. No, I know. I heard it. We were cringing.
Like, who said I was arrogant or untouchable? How about innocent? We'll start with that word. So, like, if your southern accent, you're looking at the Playboy Arrogance, who's arrogant. Like, what who makes more money than you has to be arrogant. Anybody who makes more money than you from Miami who's younger than you is arrogant. Like, you guys.
Can you hear how arrogant he sounds right now? This is the brilliant thing. We don't hate people from Tallahassee. We love people with tiny brains and big monkey elephant feet. You know, it's just like, oh.
Nothing about me. You label me as arrogant. You label me as untouchable. You label me because you're smarter than everybody else, because you're a doctor. Like, you're dressing me up with all these fucking adjectives, and then you get all these people who probably make $35,000 a year.
Mr. Pinto Peabody, good to see you.
Live in Tallahassee, are hardworking people, and they're looking at you like you're an alien. And then they're reading emails that are horrible, taken out of context, but none of the things were ever done. It was just saying, go be a jerk to someone who's being a jerk to you.
Charlie, the emails go to the motive of the family, who are the co-conspirators. Some of them unindicted, some of them already arrested and convicted, you know, like you. And then the people you hired. I mean, you know, that's part of building the picture of the conspiracy.
Actually,
it was. I thought that was pretty clearly explained that none of that was done.
Put a yellow highlighter on it, and it's like she even wanted to dress the kids up in Nazi uniforms. Like, no, like, there was no attempt to go to Target by the Nazi uniforms. They sold out.
There was no attempt to go to Target and buy Nazi uniforms. Come to think of it, I mean, where would you even buy a Nazi uniform? I don't even know if I want to put that into Google. Like, where can I buy a Nazi uniform? Well, yeah, you can. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. But not at Target. You know?
It said in the same email, it says you can put on an act.
Right.
The same email.
So then they're like, oh, you're putting on an act now? You're like, people, you don't know who these Miami people are. I mean, this was a fucking, like, this was just a Broadway show. It was a Broadway show. With cut tape, take things out of context. Sometimes I said things because there were other people around. Like, there was a wire when I was on the boat. And June was standing next to me. The last thing I said to Katie was, I said, make sure you install those AC units and I'll pay you on Monday. I said that because I didn't want June to know.
Absolutely, Pinto. I mean, this is the thing. The payback, right? I don't know how this is not like a more widely accepted thing. People have been going on about this, you know, I just find it interesting, the picture people choose to paint. or read into the situation, like this thing about Wendy's, putting a property into a trust, as if she's panicked and running around like, oh my God, I've got to protect my assets because the walls are closing in and I've had word that I might be arrested. And, all a panic. It's not all a panic for Wendy. Come on. Every single move she's made, everything she will do is meticulously planned. She's thought about this thing 10 moves ahead. It's a fucking chess match to her, right? She's, likes to think she's a grand master. And it is intricate. All the permeations, every route, if you think of like a family tree, how it goes. What do you call that thing? There's a word for it, like a flow diagram or something, right? Where you go, if this happens, then this. If this happens, then this. If this, and just all of the possibilities have been thought out. And, if this putting the property into a trust is for the purpose of protecting her assets from some kind of seizure, if they sell, you got that from ill-gotten gains because of your conspiracy and we're taking it as the federal government, if that is what it is. Of course, there are many reasons that someone might put a property into trust, and I don't believe it's the first time that the Adelsons would have done that. What was I saying? Then that's not a sudden thing. Wendy doesn't do knee-jerk reactions. Okay? That she doesn't do that at all. She's not done that once. I mean, she's spontaneous, and the interview. I mean, she had to do that mostly live and in the moment. And fortunately for her, many things she got them to play out the way she wanted to. She got Jane to come in. Amazing, right? She got Jane to come into the interview room and name Lacasse. Jane, who could have done this? And are they going to come after my kids? Or me? Who's next? Is Jeff this much of a lunatic? There's no way that you can convince me that wasn't planned, right? And the fact that she got it to play out as planned is amazing. How often does that happen? Some civilian friend comes in to the interrogation room. Incredible. And, I have to give her some credit. If she can make that happen, she is showing herself to be an operator. Don't get me wrong. She made a lot of. I mean, there's just, how many times have we watched that interview on this channel?
Bro, I'm gonna fucking fuck up where the fuck you fucking with me.
Hey, German coffees from our favorite Pinto. Thank you, Pinto. She did a lot of fuck ups in that interview, but it didn't matter, did it? And that's another thing that she loves to do, right? Is go so close to the line that it's thrill-seeking behavior. It's just like those guys that jump off the cliff in that squirrel suit thing, and go through the hole in the rock. It's coming to the edge of death for a thrill, I mean, it's sick. And that's also what's got me totally convinced that going to trial is something that she is absolutely prepared to do, right? Has predicted, has seen, has thought out, and is coming in to win. And I think that falls into part of the reason why she hasn't been arrested. I think Wendy on the stand, people go, oh, they need her as a witness. They need her as a witness, and she'll plead the fifth unless we, give her the immunity. And if we arrest her, she'll plead the fifth, and blah, blah, blah. She's useless in every single trial. In Katie 1, in Katie and Sigfredo, Katie 2, and Charlie's trial, she was useless for demonstrating any, in terms of probative value to the prosecution. She added nothing. But Georgia got an interview, 3 of them so far. And every time Georgia gets a little bit more, right? And Georgia navigates that beautifully. Holds back, is careful, right? It's like, I don't know. It's a very delicate game that Georgia plays in that courtroom with Wendy. But my point is that the state, Georgia, knows that Wendy has predicted, has prepared, has the best lawyer in the country, and is coming in to win. So uses every opportunity she can to get a little bit more from Wendy, to get a little bit more, kind of, it's like the interrogation that never happened. Georgia gets that every time that Wendy's on the stand, and it's useful. It will be useful in her ultimate prosecution. So, to me, the roots of the reason why Wendy has not been arrested is not because the state doesn't have enough evidence. It's not because Wendy is needed in the previous prosecutions. The main reason is they want to learn as much as they can. They've probably predicted that Wendy is the only Adelson smart enough not to take the stand in her own defense. She's going to let her lawyer do the talking. Maybe. I mean, that would be the best move. She does not make the jury feel warm to her in any of the trials, but none of the previous trials have mattered to her, right? None of those jurors, they're separate trials. It's irrelevant to her own prosecution. But Georgia gets to learn a little bit more each time, And I think Georgia just wants to spend any opportunity that she can to get more clued in to what Wendy's ultimate game will be. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. And I am right 100% of the time, as you all saw in my prediction about the trial continuance.
What the hell I'm talking about. And I wanted to sound like I'm ending the conversation talking to Danny, he was always charging me for an AT. Oh, doctor, one of the AT units went out. I had to go put it in. No, he was stealing $400 from me. But on that tape, I go, make sure you install the AT unit on Monday, and I'll pay you when I see you, because I wanted you to think I was talking to Danny, the repairman, on the phone. So sometimes you say things because someone thinks.
Hey, Jubilee McCoolbeely. I'll just call you Jubilee. The crime scene drive wasn't impulsive? No, I don't think so. It's a red herring. Why would I drive to the crime scene if I knew something had went down? Plus, it falls into exposing, what Georgia said to Charlie in his cross was she exposed you all to a certain degree by those actions, didn't she? I mean, I fully believe that Wendy wanted her mother and brother to go down as a fuck you to them for causing this whole mess in the first place. It was Donna that ultimately got Wendy stuck in Tallahassee. It was Donna that wanted her to marry Dan. Wendy trusted her. But, you know, I mean, so, and it's not like the meddling stops there. We've all heard the calls, the wiretap calls, where it's like, yeah, I've done my work on Wendy. Now you need to come around and hit her from the other side, and we're going to convince her of this. And she's just like, she's been this puppet her entire life, probably. It's seriously bite back time. So yeah, I don't think it was impulsive.
Standing next to you.
Of course.
Things you're standing in an office, there's assistants, there's front desk. You don't want them to hear certain words and know what you're talking about. Like there's different reasons. Like it's not a hard concept to understand. It's not always, not always the most negative answer you could possibly think. I mean, you gotta understand. Like I know how hard Dan worked on this case.
Like nobody else would have done. Trust me.
No, he dissected everything. He worked like a maniac, dissecting everything. Spent a lot of time with me, going over all the information, keeping me up to date with everything, let me give you an update. I've never.
Yeah, I'm sure he worked like a maniac and billed extensively for every single hour, for every single photocopy. I mean, Dan Rashbaum found himself the perfect client, right? Bottomless cash. I love it. At some point, they say they're reciting what Dan said to them post conviction, and Dan was like, "Yeah. Before we move on to I know you want the appellate lawyer, but let me finish up here." He's like, he's still after the conviction. He's like, I can get another 6 weeks out of this, at least. Let me tidy up and hand it over. Hey, Rochelle, how you doing?
Our attorney just giving you an update. Usually, as long as they know what's going on, why do you know what's going on? He kept me involved. He'd give me updates. He'd talk to me at length about everything, decisions, approaches, everything. Right? And honest to God, honestly, is better. Dude, I don't know, listen to it. There?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
Charlie, I'm listening to everything you say.
Honest to God, if Bubble came up to Tallahassee, at the end of that 2-hour Dateline special she put on in the courtroom, Bubble was in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that. It put these people in a mindset that it was. They think they pulled one on you, Tallahassee. What she wrote in that book, it made it seem like she was planning everything.
Yeah.
But what was the one thing they said that Wendy let the boys finally see their grandparents because she knew it wasn't going to look very good when she came to trial if she didn't. I don't know, but I have a feeling that's not why Wendy was letting the kids see the grandparents. But she knew it wasn't going to look very good for her. She didn't let them see them. So she just let them see them.
You know that.
To make herself look better. It wasn't going to reflect good on her. So and then what was it they said? They said they were going to arrest me sooner, but they thought it would interfere with the grandparents' first visit with the children. So they delayed my arrest.
Charlie, you were arrested 12 hours later. That's exactly why. That's what they did. They knew what they were doing.
After the Markels visited the kids?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they made it seem like they were going to arrest me months earlier, but they held off because the Markels were seeing their grandkids. I didn't know. I thought that police were just saying that to support.
No, they saw them on the 20th. at about, 3, 4 in the
Yeah, it was
afternoon for
definitely
1
the 20th.
hour.
Yeah.
4 in the afternoon for 1 hour at a where was it?
Oh, this is horrible. This is just disgusting. Like, oh, well, let's play it out.
At a local eatery. Wendy brought a friend of theirs, is a very big guy who has a kid the same.
So Wendy brought this huge guy, so that if Phil Markel decided to kidnap the boys, the huge guy would get in the way. Okay.
Age as Lincoln. She brought him with her so that she felt a little more comfortable. And the boys, because I asked her, I obviously wasn't there, and I said, so how did it go? And she said, it was the strangest thing because she said, I thought they were going to just literally fall all over the boys, fall all over them because they hadn't seen them. And because Lincoln looks just like Danny.
Right.
They didn't hug them. They didn't kiss them.
How weird is that, huh? I mean, you got to see that coming. They're both boys. It's like, of course he's going to end up looking just like the guy that you murdered. I mean, I bet Wendy loves that. Yeah, and I don't believe she gives a fuck about those children, other than just being an extended tool of her rage, Wendy doesn't have normal emotions. She's not scared. She's not running scared and fucking putting her assets in trusts because the walls are closing in. She's not scared. She's prepared. Okay? And she's not sorry. She has no remorse, no regret. The one thing that she does have under the mask is this rage that's so vicious that it's almost non-human. I mean, and the real rage at root is against herself, right? And because she can't accept how angry she is at herself, she lashes out at others to support her own view of personal strength. It's something like that. It's something like that, which is dangerous.
They spoke to them.
Hey, thanks so much for the super chat, Carrie Brooke. We'll need a supercomputer to get through the new calls. Definitely. Right. And so much more. I mean, that's why we were late today. Fucking, yeah. Anyway, we're on the way. We're on the way. We've got it. It's in the bag, I think. It's in the bag.
Them about school and things like that. And Wendy said, barely an hour, and they were done. You know why they did it? They did it because it looked good for them. Because they could have cared less. They were totally disinterested.
And then that was the only time.
Yeah. The Markels were totally disinterested in seeing the only offspring of their murdered son. Yeah, totally disinterested. They were on their phones. Oh, they asked them about school. The nature of whatever the Markel's demeanor was being in this very awkward position. They've got a good handle on what went down. Of course they do. They've attended all the trials. They've spoken with the prosecutors very extensively, I'm sure. They have a good idea of where it's going and who's in the, in the sights of the prosecution. So they're attending this meeting because they want to see the boys, but they're sitting down with the woman that they know ordered the murder, the brutal murder of their only son. It's got to fuck with your head a little bit, right? And you're also not going to want to be, you're not going to want to do nothing out of line or over the top, because it's a delicate situation. I can just totally see why they would be like, you know, and also not wanting to freak the boys out. They've also got this sense of whatever Wendy has told them, right? About what happened to their father, about who their grandparents are. They don't know what's going on. Of course, they're going to be gentle and, you know, what is the word? Reserved, perhaps.
Times they've seen them since then?
Since 2016, when they wrote that letter, the foster care letter. Yep, that was it.
I thought they'd seen it. For some reason, when I was in court, I thought they'd seen them a bunch since 2022.
No. They saw them the day 12 hours before you were arrested. That's when they saw them.
So you think the police wanted to arrest me sooner, but they were holding off on the grandparent visit?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Yeah, without a doubt, Trump. Without a doubt.
Because once.
Do we believe that? Perhaps. I mean, when was the bar mitzvah thing? That was after Charlie was arrested, right? So they had a visit, April 20th, I think she said. And then when Charlie was arrested, Wendy told the Markels that she had cancelled the bar mitzvah, but it went ahead anyway, and they weren't re-invited. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the order of it.
Those arrangements were made for them to see the kids. Why were you arrested? Not 12 hours later. You want to tell me why?
I thought they went to the grand jury. I guess they went to the grand jury on the 19th, I thought. And then they went, I guess they took it to the grand jury on the 19th. So I guess then a warrant was written on the 20th, and then it was picked up on the 21st.
Yeah.
So Jane says, even if Donna located her homeless addict character witnesses, and even if they're not informers, how could any jail talk hearsay be admissible? What does that mean? Even if they're not informers? I mean, would it be to prove the matter asserted? You know, they would say what Katie told them. And say that they repeated it to Donna. I mean, I don't think it'll probably come up. I don't even know what the point of that was. And Donna, whenever she makes up something that someone said, it's always got the word pretty in it. You know? In the Katie thing, it was like, yeah, McBanaway said to these addicts, oh, she would be sitting very, very pretty. She would be sitting very pretty on a beach in Maui, and with an expensive drink or something, whatever it was. And then with the jailhouse extortion, when the big bully, Big Judy, came up to her and twisted her arm and said, "You're going to buy me commissary." And Donna said, "I'm going to what?" Oh, have we got a clip of that? And then Big Judy said, "Unless you want those pretty white teeth knocked out of your mouth, you're going to buy me commissary." It's always very pretty with Donna, but it's always in this kind of the way people spoke in the 50s. It's a real bad tell for making stuff up, And the roughed up thing. I mean, that's also kind of, how they would talk in American graffiti, which is why I think Charlie originally got that from Harvey. And now Harvey's picking up stuff from Charlie, like the huge, right? There's so much of that in this case where, like, what was the Coinky Dink? Katie got that from Charlie. I mean, these little quotes, these little things get passed around so much. What was the one in the bump? The one in the bump was, what is this in reference to? And that got passed around.
So that's probably once they knew when the grandparents were coming in on the 20th.
Yes.
And bringing the grand jury on the 19th.
You got it 100% right. That's exactly how that happened.
I wish Wendy would have stood up there and said, well, they've only seen them once. They saw them for an hour. They didn't hug or kiss their grandkids. They made no attempt to see him since.
But you know how it goes. You have to answer the question. You can't go give a spiel,
But Dan
Michelle, the homeless character witnesses were what Donna had a hearing, and she was saying that, I guess the point of what she was saying is that Katie was trying to get back at the Adelsons, right? So she said that two other inmates that had also served time with Katie somewhere else or at another time reported to Donna that Katie had said to them that she's going to get those Adelsons or, that sort of thing, that she was going to make up testimony. And if it wasn't for them, she'd be sitting pretty on a beach in Maui. So, and then there was this big dispute about the defense wanted to get a recorded deposition to play in the trial in case, because these two inmates were addicts and they were about to be released, and they said to the judge, well, there's a good chance that they won't have an address and that they'll be using hard drugs again, and we may not be able to find them. So we need to get their information now on a recorded video deposition to play in trial. And I think the reason they did that is because a recorded deposition, as opposed to having them in court, where any cross-examination can be, you can take into account other things that have happened in the trial. If the recording is made before the trial starts, then there's less context, right? So I think that would have been a benefit to the defense, but I don't think it wasn't allowed. So
he could have. It wouldn't have made a difference. Wouldn't have made the least bit of difference. Look, they have a grandparent bill going through the Florida legislature. Grandparents have no rights. Let's face it, you have no rights. So it's up to the parents to let you see their children, at least in the state of Florida, but I think it's pretty much all over the country.
Right.
So unfortunately, that's the way it is.
So anyway,
this thing about the grandparents' rights, the Markel Act, which, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was basically saying that if grandparents don't have rights in the state of Florida to see their grandchildren, right? But they passed an act, or partially passed an act, that said if the surviving parent was found to be guilty of the murder, then the grandparents would have rights. It's very, very loose on the details there, but it's essentially something like that. And this was one of the reasons that I thought Wendy might have moved to Austin, right? Because it was a state issue. So the fact that the Markels made whatever progress they made with that act, the Markel Act, in the state of Florida, would mean nothing in the state of Texas, where also grandparents do not have those rights. So the work that they did is only relevant to Florida. So Wendy was like, okay, well, we'll move to Texas. What a bitch. Yeah, I'm not saying that was, it's just a thought I had. I'm sharing my thoughts.
So they see Wendy out to seem like, she's preventing them from seeing the grandkids. Well, how many times have they come to see the grandkids since the last 18 months?
Yeah.
Well, one time for an hour and then give them a hug and kiss.
Yeah. And I guess
for some reason I thought they saw 3 or 4 times since.
No. In fact, I asked the boys separately from Wendy, how did that go? And they both said it was just weird. Like, we don't know who they are, and they just asked us questions about school. And he said then it was time to go. I mean, it's like they introduced a stranger. And they did it because they wanted to say that they had been to see the children. That was important. So
right, for the show.
Sure, it's all a show.
Yeah,
it's all a show.
Photo ops. Remember that, where they would take pictures of everything?
It was all a show. All a show. Those Markels, they just wanted to make a show. It's so funny because that's exactly the reason that Wendy allowed them to see the kids. They always do this, don't they? They point out in others what they do, right? Wendy wanted to make a show so that she could come into the trial and say, yes, we had a reconciliation and we just had a meeting with the Markels where they saw the boys just before trial. It's like, and they, of course, that would have been Katie's trial that this was.
Everybody?
Yeah.
With it.
Doesn't matter. The point is, that's exactly what happened. They came on the 20th.
When I was here in Tallahassee, I saw the Tallahassee Democrat group, Markel, had a book here below the trial. She had a book signing in Tallahassee.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
I
think Dan told me ahead of time, but yeah, I knew that was timed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she spent more time at the book signing than she did with the grandkids, which she hadn't seen in 6 years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, please do leave a like on the video, guys. Hit that thumb, hit that big thumb. Show me your big thumb. Hit all the like. Everybody should hit like, I think. And if you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description to buymeacoffee.com, or at the top of the chat, you can help us reach our goal with a super chat. Or just hit the like button. I mean, I don't mind. Any way you want to do it is fine.
I just think there's so much I'd like to say.
I know, Shirley. Let me tell you. I know you're in shock, and so are we. And I think Dan is too. He did not expect this. He did not expect it. He's smarter than her. He talks to a jury. He doesn't have to read off a piece of paper. He walks around. He knows. I mean, no reason. No reason.
I mean, this was, normally people go to court and they got a prosecutor and they got a defense attorney and they take the facts and they put it out there and like some what I call extraneous stuff comes in. this was a cheap, and it's funny, when I was listening to one of these talk shows talk about the case, they have this mentor lawyer call up and give commentary on the case. He goes, watching Georgia Cappleman do that masterful closing with like.
You think one day he's going to say my name on a jailhouse call? Yeah, they had this commentator, true crime Metrix, saying all about the case. That'd be great.
Watching the TV production being played before our eyes, she brought it from beginning to end, laid it all out, hit all the high points, told the story. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. She told the story.
Yeah, Charlie, that's what being a good closing argument, that's what doing a good closing argument is. You tell the story. I mean, he's saying it like this is not how, what does he think it's supposed to be? He's like going, oh yeah, and then she laid it all out from beginning to finish and told the story. I mean, yeah.
Her version of a creative story. She supported it with Ryan. She supported it with even his own sister. You chopped up what she said, took it out of context, and now you can start the sentence off with even his own sister. Like, doesn't believe him. Like, that's not what she said, but that's how she made it sound.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there thinking like his best friend, his sister. She even said to the cops, like, the whole thing was a fucking sham. And I felt all along like I was being a real trial. Like this was a real trial with real facts, and like the main points, and prove their side. It wasn't at all. No. This was not. This had a fucking. This was like something out of like even the bailiffs were like, we've never seen anything like this up here. This is crazy. Like people were like with the news crews and people do a podcast and the reporters and like I mean the frenzy in the courthouse from this case was the talk of the courthouse. It was the Super Bowl going on there. And Georgia Cappleman wasn't gonna lose this case. This case is how you make your career. If she lost this case, she'd be known as the one who lost this case. I mean, it would have been. So she realized she can't consider the big fact. So what is she to do? Bring up emails. You can't debate an email. An email says what an email says. But you're taking everything out of context and meaning and realizing these people didn't do any of this. Well, it shows where they're headed. They're crazy. They're crazy about this. Like, I guess once you paint them as crazy, then everything else gets much easier to paint. Like, if any of those things were done, it would have been crazy. None of them were done. They were just personal emails saying, be a jerk to him and he's being a jerk to you. Like,
it was crazy. It was crazy.
And I thought for Wendy's attorney got up there to show basically what a jerk he's being. She seemed very likable, very Tallahassee, very like pleasant, her attorney. But when she showed what, I was thinking to myself, okay, like when she should have played, it should have been good to her. Maybe it would have like resonated with these jurors. Like, okay, like he's pushing people's buttons now. People are being told to go push his buttons. That's it.
That's all it was. That's all it was. Ridiculous. An email.
But the highlighted email, and it's like Donna's crazy email. Like, holy shit! She's telling Wendy to do this. Go do this. Like nothing was ever done. Just saying, be a jerk to him. It would have been better if you just wrote, be a jerk to him, and be a jerk to you. But you didn't realize that people were going to tear it apart. And I kept looking at comments.
you know.
It also was like, while I was preparing for trial and talking to Dan every day, like I was still nothing but.
This call is being terminated. No third-party calls are allowed.
Oh, and that call's terminated. So the next one is this one.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, just
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Free, packing. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hot. So, just shorts, really, and sandals. What about that call where Charlie was discussing, what was it, somewhere in Costa Rica that they were going? And Donna was like, oh, can Dad wear shorts and flip-flops to dinner? And Charlie was like, jeans and flip-flops.
just the usual.
The huge, bit of the old huge. Oh no, this isn't the next call. This is the 9th. But it flows into. Is that right? Let me just double check that. So that was the 7th. Well, okay, it seemed to flow. We'll just let it flow.
Not much going on, just the usual.
Just the usual.
Or did we listen to this the other day? Okay, we'll give it a couple of minutes.
Just the usual. That's all. Gotta look at the usual.
If people ever complain about the stress of practicing dentistry, they got no idea.
That's right.
You know how many people you talk to and they're like, oh, it's so stressful, dentistry. It's like, no.
Yeah, you worry about the stress.
Yeah. Those fucking lazy dentists, they should all have their own murder trial. Then they'd know.
But if the procedure doesn't go right, automatically you get sued. And you get sued for free because you have someone that says, oh,
No, I was saying that there's other things in life more stressful than dentistry.
Fucking Harvey's lost it already, hasn't he? If the proceeding doesn't go right, suddenly you get food. You get food for free. Yeah, but Dad, it's really bad food. It's spaghetti and potatoes together.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Dentistry is that stressful.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah. So I spoke to Alex a little bit, and I talked to him, and he said, that he said he was going to talk to you later today. He said No, of course not.
Sorry, I just had to tell parents.
I was having the young lady that I'm with giving me an outline of the conversation I could have with you. No, she wasn't really. So anyway, that's the situation. Taking care of a lot of stuff, getting stuff, just organized.
He's got friends in good places.
Yeah.
For example, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. Gary's been really good, and they all are concerned about you. And
Do you remember way back when Donna was first arrested, that I think it was Roberta Glass was saying that Donna's going to be running things in the detention center. You know, that she's a cockroach, a survivor. Doesn't seem to have worked out that way, does it? I mean, she got sexually. She claims that she got sexually, you know, whatever that was. What would you call that? Harassment. You know, someone ran some fingers up her wrinkly back in the shower, and then Big Judy came in with the commissary demands, and now she's in solitary and probably will be for the next 3 to 4 months. Jesus, that's bad.
you probably, do you have Gary's number? If you want to call him and talk to him?
Yeah, originally I wanted him to be on my like attorney-client number so I could call him as an attorney.
Yeah.
And then,
That'll tell us
yeah,
that's
if
actually.
you don't mind, yeah, if you don't mind, have Gary call up the jail and give him his cell number and have him listed as an attorney for me here. And that way, if I ever.
Yeah.
He has been my lawyer before. I have consulted with him on stuff. So if I have stuff that I need to talk to him about, I can call him up and talk to him.
Right. No, that's perfect. I'll take care of that.
When we get off that.
Yeah, I'll take care of it even faster than that. I'll
Once we get off.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get that for you.
Yeah. Because like John Hader registered as a lawyer at the jail for me, because he's been my lawyer before on issues. So if I call John Hader, it says like, it says, you know, this is an attorney, this is a non-recorded call, this is an attorney. And even when I call Ramsey, it says the same thing. I called Ramsey yesterday, I talked to him for 2 minutes. For a while.
You spoke to him for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him a text this morning.
Yeah.
Some other things I was dealing with, so I sent him a text. I don't think
he spent like 45 minutes an hour talking to me the other day.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, then, I sent it because I have his personal cell, so I sent it there. And
always give him a day. Always give him like 2 days to respond in case he's slammed.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it, so I'll be honest with me.
1 second. Do you want to ask Charlie about?
Oh, yeah. Mom asked me anything about Hasselbach that you want me to take care of, or you just want me to take care of it?
I think this was the wrong call. We're switching it up.
Hello, this is a pre-
Ah, fuck. How do I go back? Shit.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Charlie.
You got both of us.
Yeah, got us both.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm going to be all right.
I know you will, Charlie.
I will, Charlie.
I'm going to be good. I'll be strong. I'll be fine.
Yes. I know you will. This
Sorry.
is crappy where you are. This is going to be, it's going to get better as you get the hell out of that room. That a little better.
I think you're dreaming, Michelle. Michelle hopes that Charlie flips on Donna and Wendy both, especially Wendy. Donna's a done deal. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to do that. We've been over this. I mean, Charlie's going to exhaust his appeals. He's still holding on, to some miracle happening. Like a jury member gets found to have acted improper, or someone writes something in the future, or I mean, that really is like a one in a million. How often does that happen? Not very much, right? But he's going to exhaust his hope. He's going to be, yeah. And I think his hope will last longer than Donna lives. His hope for a new trial, his hope for a successful appeal. I mean, the appeal's not going to be even dealt with for what, another 2 years, maybe more, if he can even make one. um, Donna's 75 years old now. By the time her trial comes around, she'll be getting ever more closer to 76. What's her birthday? February 5th. Harvey's what? 82 now? I think he's 82. I mean, that's old, man. I don't think Charlie's gonna say, but after they die, and Charlie has given up hoping for a successful appeal and has accepted his fate, and if Wendy's still not arrested at that point, he'll take her down. But I don't think he'd turn on his mother, especially when she's only going to live for another 3, 4, 5 years, absolute maximum.
I'll feel a little better once I get into the other pod and I can move around a little bit.
Right.
Right.
I know, right? You're stuck in here.
I'm literally like in solitary hell.
You did 5 months already. It's really hard to go back to that. Terrible.
Well, at least then I can look outside my window. This is not like, this place is filthy. I think you can't step on the floor, piss on the floor. You stick to the floor, there's blood on the walls and shit on the ceiling.
So, as I told you, I told you exactly at 12:05 when Dan texted me.
So roughly the same condition that you leave your hotel room in Colombia.
What he said. So he's trying, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Charlie, why has Ryan Fitzpatrick taken a shit in the sink? Oh, they do it to abuse the housekeeping.
Mack is like, yeah, we got him in charge. He's supposed to come down and see me.
Who's the one that he said he spoke to? He spoke to the other.
He spoke to Whaley.
Well, that's it. He spoke to Whaley.
It's just, it is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
More than a lot.
It is, Charlie.
It's unfathomable. It's unthinkable. It's more than a lot. I mean, it's right. I can't.
It just kills me because I knew that this is what Tallahassee was going to be. I knew exactly, and it's like no matter what your case is, no matter who your lawyers are, no matter what jury consultants you get, you're still dealing with the 911
He's got this big problem with being called arrogant, right? But yet he's the one who knew exactly what Tallahassee was going to be. He's the one who delivered a flawless testimony. He's the one who beat Georgia's ass on cross. He's the one that worked with Dan and developed this super story. Unbelievable.
operators can't come out for your jury's trial.
That actually Dad actually doesn't know you. He told me the story before about one of the people. She was on the jury, right?
No. We had to use an act to get rid of her. The judge wouldn't release her for cause.
Just wouldn't release her for cause. The mother of the 911.
No,
the
nephew.
Hang on, we listened to this as well, didn't we? Shit, I've got all muddled up with these calls. This is why we need to create the best resource available that makes it real easy. Numerical identities. Call 1, call 2, call 3. It's not enough to just have the dates. Okay, well, I'll see if I can find the one that I wanted to share with y'all.
The aunt, right?
Her nephew took the 911 call when Dan was shot. He's the one that's heard on the call during the dispatch. So the aunt came out for jury selection, and we said to the judge, well, we're going to be, what if we're critical of her nephew who's taking the call, and where there's some critique that we have, and that's his aunt, and she's on the jury, and she's listening to us critique her nephew's performance. And she said, well, I could be fair and treat him fair and give him a fair shot and follow the jury's instructions and pursue him to be innocent until proven guilty. And they go, okay.
Okay, we got to switch it. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the fuck around.
It's been on Dateline. It's been on everywhere else.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Charlie.
an incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow the...
Ooh, Angie's got an interesting comment. Angie says, if Donna really loves her grandkids, she's going to leave Wendy alone. Donna's not going to turn on Wendy anyway. I mean, and if she really loved the grandkids, they should go with the fucking Markels, some normal, good people that will actually, give them a good basis for their life, in the rest of their adolescence and early adulthood. Wendy is not a good mother. Yeah, but Donna's all in on winning the trial. And, as we've seen, the only case that they'll be making is one of sympathy for the elderly and infirmed. She's too old to send to prison. What's the point? One juror can't get around that. One juror who just had a 75-year-old mother die or be put in a home or some emotional trigger. All it takes is one to get a mistrial. And then they'd retry her within, 60, 90 days? Is there any chance they would choose not to retry her? I don't think so. We've come too far. The state's going to get everybody.
Facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey.
Hi, honey. I don't know what happened there. I just kept saying phone weren't there.
Yeah, no, the power, the bars went down, the reception just went down. I had to wait for it to get service again.
Yeah.
No, I know. Listen, I know I'm belaboring it because I got nothing else in my head, and everything is bad. So it's one thing I can kind of focus on and rehash.
That's right. That's right. It's fine.
No, that's right. It's like it gives me something to focus on or talk about. Otherwise, everything else just is really hard for me right now.
I know that.
It's like everything is a trigger. Oh, I don't even know what to say. I've never been like this, but it's like usually I always focus on something. This is like I focus on the appeal, and then I think about it, and I'm like, check out your last name, check out where you are, and you didn't have one fucking juror with all the guns that you brought out ablazing, with all the work that was put into it, with everything that you fucking brought to the table. You couldn't get one. You couldn't even get them to deliberate. You couldn't even get them to. Dan was telling them what wires to listen to, what time. They didn't have to listen to the whole wire. Go to 3 minutes and 36 seconds. No. They weren't even listening. They weren't even taking notes. Like, their minds were made up. Dan was telling them to go to this wire and to play the wire and hear it for themselves at 3 minutes and 34 seconds. You know what Georgia did? She had a photocopy of the transcript with the words highlighted. So you could read it on the screen for yourself right there. You didn't have to go back to the jury room. Read it right now. I'll read it to you. Like, I almost feel like, you there?
No.
Yeah, I almost feel like Dan should have had, if Dan made it for a 5th grade level, he should have made it for a 3rd grade level. He should have had the photocopies with the highlighted words saying, it's not done like this. I know for a fact. But like everything they explained away.
Yeah, but they heard that. They actually heard that over and over. It's just, I don't know but didn't penetrate. I don't know.
I think the case got dumbed down to she's showing up at the scene of the crime. He's telling me she didn't know. If she knew, then they're involved. If she wasn't showing up, okay, I could believe it maybe, but her showing up is the icing on the cake. And that's why they opened with it, and that's why they closed with it, and they even gave their simple explanation, which is she couldn't help herself. And look, 99 out of 100 times, if, in a case like that, I guess it would make the most sense, except that's not what happened. But I think the jury could grasp a hold of, between that and the TV, they had two things that were coincidences that you really don't have explanations for. Yeah. And it was and it came up the day of the murder and the day of the bump. Why is everybody talking TV talk? And the TV joke ties it all in. 1, 2, 3. And then she's showing up at the scene of the crime.
And then Janice wanted to take his TVs from Whale Harbor.
I had somebody ask me that, a couple of years ago. It's like, did that really happen? I go, trust me. Nobody knew. She showed up. They're like, man, that's 1 in a million.
Yeah.
And I go, yep. So you mean to tell me 1 in a million you're right? The other 1 in a million you're innocent? Even if you say it's 1 in 10,000, now you're starting off the debate saying, listen, 1 in 10,000 times I'm right. All right, you want to bet I'm right on this one? You can't win it. You can't. Once somebody in their head says, if that's really her explanation, what are the fucking chances? That's near impossible for me to. That's what. I guarantee you, if they poll jurors, that's going to be the thing that's stuck in their head, that they they knew right then and there it was either a coincidence or it was a lie. And the coincidence has to be 1 in 10,000. And maybe they're sitting there saying it's one. I'm saying 1 in 10,000. Maybe these dudes are saying it's 1 in a million. You got to be a part of it. Showing up at the, you know what they always say, like an expression. It's like you showed up at the scene of the crime. Right. Like they always use it in like detective movies and like.
Oh, this is the one where he's gonna go on about Paul Castellano, which we've heard before. Ah, I'm sorry. I've listened to like all of these calls this week, and my history. I thought I had it listed, but let's see. Let's just go back to a search. Charlie Adelson. Jail. Ah, maybe it was this one. Hmm. Think it might be this one.
I sure
Well, yeah.
I don't know why I feel that, but no, it's just I had so much hope, and like the crazy thing is that I really wasn't getting that excited until this past weekend, and then after that, you had Thursday, Friday of the week before, then you had this whole week, last whole week, and then I had Wendy's attorney testified on Friday, actually maybe Thursday. And no, it was all day Thursday.
Yeah,
Friday.
She was Friday. She was Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Friday morning. Friday morning.
Yeah.
So I sat up there and testified from Thursday at 8:45 till 5:45 at night. I come back, they put me on the stand for another hour Friday morning. And Kappelman had me for another 2 hours.
2 hours.
I'm like, okay, you're full on questioning, ask me anything. It doesn't come down to that. And Dan said to me, he said, if I were to give you a score, I think you would get a 95. He said he was very happy with how I testified. You know, my demeanor, my delivery, how I was like to the point, with like not, elaborated on some stuff, was personable. Like he came across fantastic. Everybody, Bree was telling me, like, reading to me things that people were finally writing online about, like, positive things. Like, finally, people are writing positive things about the case.
Yeah.
And I was literally, like, I was on cloud nine over the weekend. I was like, I'm going to see my son. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go to see Scott. I'm going to go there. I'm going to have these plans over there. I'm going to have these plans. I'm going to enjoy my time with my dog. I can't wait to be on my boat. I can't wait to see my son. I'm planning on what restaurant I wanted to go to. Like I'd given away my food on Sunday night because I'm thinking like, okay, like they're not going to let me go from the courthouse. Like I gave away all my food to 2 guys and friends, and like I'm feeling good. Like I was so sure that I was going home that like I didn't want to have people just pick my food. I'd rather give it to the 2 guys I'm friends with. So they gave me 2 packages of fish back, and once I go back to the pod, they'll give me some of the food back. And they just walked me through the pod, and I'm like, go get me some tuna fish. And they went up and got them. So, but I was like, I
Hey, Michelle, apparently you were put in a timeout, but it was in error. So I don't know how we can fix that. I think you just have to wait. Sorry. Not my fault. And total accident, Michelle.
I was like 90%.
You were, people said he has an answer for everything because it's the truth. Okay? Then they said, I believe him. He was definitely not part of this killing. Another one. It's,
Bree
made her look absolutely desperate several times with incredible reaches like, quote, you're untouchable, right? She had to go to those kinds of traps because they have nothing substantial. He will walk. You may think he's guilty, but they haven't been close to proving it. And another one, if I were on that jury, there's no way I could say 100% he's guilty. His ex-girlfriend is totally unbelievable. She was shown to be such a liar. I mean, on and on and on and on. Wendy's ex is not believable.
Bree's reading me what they're saying. Like, Bree's reading to me what they're saying. I'm on cloud nine. I'm making bubble over the weekend. I spoke to John Hader. I spoke to Mike Miz. I was like, just feeling great, thinking like everything is going as good as you could have hoped. Absolutely as good as you could have hoped. Like, Kathleen got to the point that she wanted to ask me where, what does Bree do for Dave, and how old is she? Like, why are you asking me her occupation and her age? Like,
because she had nothing to talk about.
Because you know that she's his nanny, and you're about to make me look bad. So instead, I said, well, Bree went to college, and then after she graduated college, she worked for Dave, and she was 24, and I was 39, and that's the mother of my child. Like, I shut her up. Like, she didn't have anything to say about, how old is, she was hoping that it was going to be, oh yeah, she's a nanny and she's 17. And then she'd have another Georgia Catholic moment. Whoa! Did you get in trouble? No. No, she was actually 25, not 24, but it was like, it was, I felt when I was, honestly, Mom, I felt when I was on the stand and she asked me, what does Bree do for Dave and how old is she? I was like, you have nothing else to ask me.
I know.
You've run out of questions. I mean, Mom, I've never in my life gone from one extreme of emotion to the next like this. I've never come close.
No.
Not.
We were all on a high. After you testified, we were all on a high. And Bree is right. All these messages came in positively. They couldn't believe how...
Miles called up. He couldn't wait to tell us.
He said he's totally innocent. Totally innocent. And his son-in-law, who's a lawyer, called. He is...
Yeah, he's a lawyer, and he knew. He's 100% innocent, he says. He says, your boy is coming home. Oh, and I love how they've got these people helping them, right? They've got all these people helping them, and they're like, oh, you never know. You could not even know someone that well, but when shit goes down, and they come through. And it's like, yeah, of course they fucking come through. They're looking for, oh, you need some liquid, huh? You trying to, what about we just do a bulk price? But there's just one thing. My fee, it's gone up. It's like vultures. There's a carcass that's just been sent to prison, and these idiots are going to spend any amount of money to have any smidgen of belief that they can buy their way out of this. And these vultures are just like, hey, want to get some quick cash? Actual cash? Stapled cash? Washed?
totally innocent. He said he's getting off because they have absolutely nothing. I mean, this is from intelligent people. That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. That's the catch. That's the jury of my peers. The jury of my peers was not there. There was one juror, number 15, that he would have said he's a juror of your peers. He knows that if you're going to find a guy guilty of first-degree murder, you better be so sure you know what happened. You better be really, 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 really sure you know what happened. But they just had Georgia going, listen, if you use your common sense and you see what's going on here, all this code talk, just, you know what guilty is. If you feel he's guilty, vote guilty. Like, that's like saying, like I said before, like, you think the Kansas City Chiefs will beat the Dolphins. Well, that may be your feeling, but you sure aren't going to bet more than, you're not going to say I'm 90% sure, 95% sure, 99% sure. Like, that's the realm that you have to be. You're going to take somebody's fucking life.
Yes.
Like, I can't.
No.
I can't get over.
No, I can't get over.
Like, you're taking somebody's fucking life from them, and you're destroying lives, and you're being shown fucking emails, or like a book that Wendy wrote, or autopsy photos. Like, the autopsy photos are horrible. I didn't write the book, and she can say whatever the fuck she wants. She used it to rub it in their face to be like, look, this rich, educated white girl is laughing at you on her way to civilization. And isn't that what she did? Isn't that what you did? Tallahassee was just a stop on your way to civilization. You even said it in the book. You were foreshadowing. You were making fun of people.
Emails, nothing. She had absolutely nothing. And they had a liar for their big witness. So nothing.
And two big witnesses. The guy,
No, listen.
No.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. But I'm just saying, like,
no.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, even if somebody was lying, they're just like, well, it's okay if they're lying. You read these emails. Like, holy shit. I was just sitting there thinking, honestly, you know what I was thinking? You know what I was thinking, because I knew it was going to be like this.
I know what you were thinking. I was thinking.
And this is a fucking TV production. This is a TV production she's putting on. So wow, everybody. Like, look at the audience, and look at the TV production, and look at Miss Tallahassee putting on her show. It might like that. Like, Dan couldn't have done a better job. He could have done the case 100 times up here. With an Adelson attached to the case, he wasn't going to.
Yeah, I know it. He knows it.
Yeah, he put his heart and soul into it.
He did. He is sick about it. Oh.
Because I don't think Dan blows smoke up my ass when he tells me things.
No.
And he made it like, he's very straightforward. And he dissected the case and broke it all down. He never planned on walking into a circus with a TV show.
No, he did not. He did not. He was excellent. His opening with everything he did, his cross-examinations. I mean, he was terrific. He really was.
Yeah, I mean, there were people he knew he didn't want to beat up on the stand, and he just let them go. There was nothing to beat him up on. Like,
right.
He didn't want to lose points trying to go after law enforcement. Like, okay. Like, he could have objected to some of the stuff Sanford was saying. He was just like, it makes us look bad if we're going after them.
Meanwhile, none of that would have mattered, hon. None of that would have mattered. This was just
the God's honest truth. The God's honest truth is that I didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, that was Rash Baum's big thing, wasn't it? He wanted to present, as he said this in opening, he was like, we have great respect for the law enforcement. This is something you'll never hear me say as a defense attorney. I love the police. Oh, Dan. Yeah, because that'll make us more, that'll hold water. That'll make our case hold water. And then the jury will trust us. Yes. They'll understand that the prosecutors made a simple mistake. They didn't know about the extortion. They had to make it all up.
It wasn't because of the evidence. It was because of the TV show. It was because of 2020. It was because of Dateline. It was because of the blogs. It was because of the podcast. It was because of the newspaper, the local stations, the out-of-town stations covering it, court TV covering it, in a small-ass town, and you're an outsider from Miami. Rich, white, Jewish. Holy shit.
Yeah. Wow.
Just,
Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. I still can't believe it. Can't believe it.
I mean, I feel better when I'm talking to you guys, other than when I'm not talking to you. I'm looking at the shit I'm feeling myself. It's like, pain. It feels good to be able to talk. It's like,
I know.
voice my opinion.
I'm hopeful that he will see you earlier tomorrow, and that you'll get out of there, because it
Some
could
point
be
during the day,
some point during the day. Is he there? He's there just like regular out, like up to 5?
I think he's just regular hours. Yeah.
All right. So hopefully during the day. And
If you notice, the friction in my nose between my eyes was all red.
what was that from?
Did you see that on TV or no?
No. No.
No, I check this out. So you don't have tweezers. So I'm sitting watching the heat game, and I've got my index finger and my thumb, and I'm using my fingernails, as like little pinchers. So I'm like I'm tucking the eyebrows between my two eyebrows, like in the center, right? So like if you take your two fingernails, you can pinch it, and then pull the hair out, right? So I'm just sitting watching the heat game doing that, and I must have had that on my fingers. It's being so fucking disgusting. And it looked like I was breaking out with like a pimple, another pimple, another purple, and it looked like a herpes virus. So I didn't put anything on it, thinking it was going to run its course, but I didn't touch it or rub my eye. It literally scabbed up with like a really thick scab. I didn't pull the scab off, and it had the scab up in 2 weeks. It was the first week of June. I have permanent scarring between my two eyebrows. Like it's all, if you look at pictures of something, it's all red, right? You have that little scar, it's like all scarring up and down it. It's like real red. But it's also because the skin is so pale. I'm like ash.
Hey, look, everybody. Arizona just got a little bit better because Evan is back. Welcome back, Evan.
White. So, but it's real red. This is from the cherry. The skin was cherry red for like 2 months afterwards. I mean, people would come up and be like, "What happened to you?" I mean, it's still scarred, and that's from June, July, August, September, October, 5 months. And it hasn't been in the sun, so it hasn't been sun damage. But
You didn't see it. You didn't see it. Because
okay, that's not the Democrat song.
No.
I was looking forward to seeing Jerry and trying to get back to my life for a little bit, while taking my dog for a walk and going to get sushi and eating my son. And like, you don't realize, like, I just kind of view being here like,
Brian Fairclough, welcome back, Brian. Brian says, I'm telling you, if Donna was a good mommy, she would tell the court she made Charlie set it up for Wendy. She would tell the court that she made Charlie set it up and Wendy had no clue. That's what a good mama bear would do. I don't think they'd buy it. I don't think they'd buy that. And I don't think Donna would do it. Donna will die with this. Die saying that they were framed. She'll never accept responsibility for this. I think potentially there could have been a deal. I said way back, that if the state had managed to demonstrate to Donna that Wendy purposefully, instigated Donna's own arrest and Charlie's, tricked them all into doing her dirty work, and double whammied them by making sure they got caught and went down in her place. Don't forget, the best result for Wendy is not that all the Adelsons get away. That's like fairy tale. That's a trash story. That's not on the cards. The best result for Wendy, in terms of her isolating herself from the conspiracy and protecting herself from legal consequences, is that Charlie and Donna go down. That is the best way. They're the ones that have got the information exchange. They're the ones on the wiretaps. Donna's the one sending emails. Charlie's the one liaising with Katie. It's all the evidence is there, right? Around Wendy. Those train cars, it's all around Wendy. Best way for Wendy to avoid culpability is that Donna and Charlie go down. On top of the fact, in my belief, that there's a vendetta, a punishment, a payback, and she gets all the money. Well, the money that they don't spend on their trial. That's another thought I had about this assets, the property, Wendy's property going into a trust, is it could simply be, to tie up her liquidity so that she can't be called upon, to contribute to the legal funds for Charlie's appeal, Donna's case, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's in a trust and I can't get to the money. It's not liquid. Yep, all the money's in a trust, locked away for the boys, for the good of the boys. Yeah, I certainly don't buy the thing about Wendy being scared and panicked, like, the walls are closing in. Oh no, I'm about to be arrested. I better put my assets into a locked trust so they can't be touched by the federal government. Come on. No.
Say to you, this is like, you're so strong. You're like, oh, you're so strong. And I'm like, as long as I get out of this, I'm fine. I'm fine with that about a year and a half. I feel like as long as I get out of this, I'm fine. And I'm like, I said it every time, right? As long as I get out of here, I'm fine. I did my 18, 19 months in county jail. I'm fine.
Welcome back, Michelle. Oh, that was rough, wasn't it? Yeah, Michelle just got booted. She got booted. And then she came onto Discord and was like, who the fuck did this? And now she's back. But it was an accident. Welcome back, Michelle. Good to have you.
Fine. And now it's like, I was so fucking excited last weekend. Bree sending me that stuff. Everything's going good. Dan's very, very positive. And it's like, holy shit, Monday morning came. And it was like, she gave a 2-hour summary. Like that guy on the radio said, she put the movie pieces together for everybody. She put a masterful movie together. Like, yeah, this one's lying. You don't need to listen to her. This one is backing him up with what it could be. You don't need to listen to him. Those are people involved in the case. Let's focus on this book. Let's focus on Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's focus on what his sister said.
Let's focus on text messages and emails. Like, Mom was talking about his dad's birthday present. You mean the fight made that day for? No, the birthday present. Kid's birthday.
Yeah, Charlie, it's called the totality of the circumstances, man. All of that is evidence of a conspiracy. The Charlie, Ryan Fitzpatrick, emails, did I say the Charlie? Whatever. The book, Wendy, the most important part of your divorce is relocation, right? They'll have better schools. You won't have to suffer in some non-tenured, shitty fucking university role professorship. More like professor shit. Yeah, just crazy. Stuck in Tallahassee with those morons.
Yeah, his birthday is in 4 or 5 weeks, and we hadn't picked out exactly what we're going to do for it.
No evidence. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, well, usually like 4 or 5 weeks before a big birthday, you're really crunching down on the plans. That's pretty normal. You don't take a birthday present and stuff now. No.
So Dan's driving back tomorrow. He's not going to. He was there today. I know.
I saw him today. I saw him behind glass. I mean, the glass is like 3-inch thick glass that you can't hear through. I mean, literally, like someone can scream on the other side of the glass, you wouldn't hear anything. You hold the telephone, they hold the telephone, and you talk on the phone.
Hey, I just got to show you the screen grab from something Neville Darlin said. Hello, Neville. What did Neville say? The state isn't going to decide to arrest me. Nose scrunch, clown smile. That is the moment. That's the split second, right, where half of Wendy's face falls off. One side has still got the mask, and the other side is unmasked, and it's chilling. And you know what? I will give credit to Fancy Fucking Fiction for that one, because it was the first place I saw it captured in slow motion. It was on that short video she did with the song was, it's a really cool song. The High Road by, what do they call? The High Road by, what is it called? The High Road song. Broken Bells. Yeah, that was good. Where's the screen grab? There, look at it. Half the face. Which one is the mask, though? Is it her left or her right? You have to cover it up with your hand. Let's put something over it. What can we put over it? If we do this. Right, there's one. The other one. So that is the mask, right? That's the mask that is intact. And here's the real demon, right? We've got to play with that. It's chilling. Sometimes I really do wonder if there's something fucking supernatural about her. Is she like some ancient Egyptian queen that's gone through the Stargate? Crazy bitch.
Telephone and look at each other through the glass. That's the attorney booth. So the attorneys can pretty much always come in here in the jail and see their clients very easily. It's just an attorney booth. So they don't have to have a bar. They just
they get let into a booth, and you get let into the booth from the pod, and
Right.
you're on 2 meters of glass. Now, but when I had the contact visits, they always had to have a guard sitting.
Who wants to hear the Katie thing? Let's hear the Katie thing. We didn't get any coffee for a while, but that's okay, because we'll play it anyway, because that's what we're about.
Fucking A, bro. I'm gonna fucking fuck up whoever the fuck you fucking with me.
Fucking A, bro. I'm gonna fucking fuck up whoever the fuck is fucking with me. Oh, God, Katie.
Outside the door, and then I got to sit in the same room as him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we spent so much time, like, if I told you how much time we spent coming up here and, like, going over everything with me and making sure I was so well knowledgeable, any questions he had, which is, he worked. I know how hard he worked at all this case. He told me that he's been working for 20-something years as a lawyer, and he said, I can honestly tell you I've never come close to working this hard on a case. Because usually I don't really start putting the work in until 6-8 weeks before, because I started a year before on this case.
I know that. Unbelievable what he did. Really and truly was unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, coming up, I can't tell you how much time we spent on the phone together, going over stuff, going over wires, him asking me questions, really knowing his discovery in the case. And you have to, because the 8 questions a witness, you got to be ready to refer to stuff and question them and cross-examine them right after. It's not like the state questions a witness and you get to do it the next day. The state questions a witness and you're going up 30 seconds later. So, I mean, he was so, not only was he so prepared, but, he had Kate, and then he had the jury consultants that he got, like the best. Like, bringing out the best. This was not like,
No.
This was not like, oh, well, I'll take this case, pro bono, I want to get my name in the press, I want to try to make a name for myself. Like, this is like...
He doesn't need to make a name for himself, man. He can retire off this one trial. Okay? Like, he found a money printing machine called the Adelson family, right? He fed them a load of garbage about, this is what we're going to do. We're going to explain everything away, but I'm going to have to work with Charlie face to face for years, and charge you a lot of money. And then we're going to bring in my buddy Josh to fix the jury. How much does he cost? He's $1 million. $1 million. We should go through his. I'll see if I can find that actually. Josh Dubin.
The fucking win.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, he did, Charlie.
Yes, he did.
He did. He certainly did.
And he believed that if he outworked everybody and knew the case better than anybody else, knew the facts, that they weren't going to be able to come close. And I don't really think, like, sitting there in the case, I don't really think that they came close in any regard.
She just fluffed it over on that at the end. She just fluffed it over like it was nothing. Nothing.
I mean, everything he said, we kept saying, like, things wrong. And we're like, she still doesn't get it. Like, you look at me and you're like, she still doesn't get it. She still doesn't get it. She didn't want to get it. She just wanted to pretend like that wasn't her friend, and she's just going to talk over us and say, look at these emails. Look at this book. She knew if all else failed, I could get this jury to fucking hate these people. And they even said, like, you don't have to like him to acquit him. Because you know what? They can't hate you. If they hate you, and they feel like you're making fun of them, you're belittling to them, and you think you're better than them. You're arrogant. You think you're untouchable.
Yeah, or they could just be decent citizens who have listened and come to an honest decision. I mean, the Adelsons can never take themselves to that place. right? Of anything that even approaches honor and decency, because they just don't have any of it in themselves. So they don't believe that it exists in others, right? They're like, oh, yeah, well, they don't have to like me, but if they hate me, obviously they're going to convict me. And Georgia Kapperman, she lied to them and said I hate them, so they hate me, so they convict me. It's like, no, they probably listened to everything. I mean, the state put on a really good, top quality, call it a show if you want. It is a show. It's a performance. And Georgia Kappelman is a very good performer trial attorney. Knows how to speak colloquially. Use your common sense, y'all. Y'all think guilty, vote guilty. That helps. That does help. But that's just about relating to people, right? They're not like, well, she's got a southern, what do you call it? What is it called? Drawl, a southern drawl. Is drawl an onomatopoeia? Because you can't say the word drawl without drawling it out of your mouth, can you? A southern drawl. A southern drawl. I think it's an onomatopoeia.
Anything goes, then they're like clay in her hands at that point. She has nothing else to say.
So she had nothing. She had nothing.
She had nothing. She had nothing. We know what happened.
And it's funny. That's what Mike Vince said to me when I spoke to him over the weekend. He's like,
but what is the point in them being this stupid? They shouldn't even be talking about this at all. They're trying to be like clever. But as you listen to this, do you hear someone who has been wrongfully convicted? Or do you hear a spoilt child throwing all of his toys on the floor because he's lost at a game that he cheated at? You know what I mean? It's like, I demand to be entitled and I didn't get my own way, so now I'm really pissed. That's what I hear. It would be a completely different thing. It would be great to listen to a jailhouse call of someone who went down and then was later exonerated for having been shown to be innocent. As the contrast. An interesting thing I heard the other day, right? Death row inmates, before they are executed, they get their last meal, and as I understand it, within some level of reason, they can basically order anything they want. And, someone will prepare it for them. And people that are executed, they have their last meal, and then, they're taken to the gurney, right? But it's recorded whether that death row inmate eats or finishes or doesn't eat anything. And statistically, over the years, cases, the indication is statistically that cases where an inmate hasn't eaten their last meal were shown, or a majority were shown to have been innocent. But ones that were never found innocent after being executed, they all finished their meal. I don't know if it's quite as clear cut as that, but you know, the statistics indicate that there's a pattern that innocent people on death row don't eat at all or don't finish, and the guilty ones finish everything, which is interesting, isn't it?
Hey, Charlie, he's like, I saw her questioning you, and it's almost like she gave up. Like she just lost it.
Who said that to you?
Markels.
Oh, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her. It wasn't like she came to like a blunt end. Like she ran out of things. Like she got frustrated. She like kind of put her hands up. Like she wasn't. Like Bree was reading the quotes to me that people were writing, and it was like people were saying like, "I can't wait to see Kappelman hammer Adelson," and then like someone was writing back, "Looks like Adelson hammered Kappelman." Like, see, these are people.
Who wrote that, and what were they watching? Looks like Adelson hammered Kappelman. Okay. I think you might be being selective.
Who were watching the trial.
Who really watching it, right?
Like watching a real trial, and it was a real trial going on. And I think she realized after Friday where she was, and said, "You know what? I'm going to put a clause together that will make every single person on this jury despise these people when I'm done. Despise them. There's only one reason you're bringing Wendy's book and reading about a small stop and a town of this big town of the city that sounds just like Tallahassee."
But she had no evidence. Everybody knows that she had no evidence, nothing. She just played around.
Well, yeah.
No fact. No fact.
Cut and paste, put your sweet southern accent on it, you know, finesse it, and like, y'all,
Yeah, added that.
y'all know what you got here. Why are they talking like this? So there's a good explanation, and I gave it over the course of a day and a half. But you just ask it like, even his own sister said, even his own sister said, okay, well, now you got the jury believing that, like, even his own sister doesn't support him. The way you said it, that's how it sounds. Like,
she summed it up for them, so they didn't have to think for themselves. She just gave them a push note.
First, I'm going to get you to hate him, and then I'm going to give you a couple retard-proof cliff note things to settle in your stomach.
What is he saying? Then they give you a couple of retard proof. What is he saying? Oh, I just love how he speaks of the jury now. Just got to go back. Let's get all of this.
Like, even his own sister said, even his own sister said, okay, well, now you got the jury believing that, like, even his own sister doesn't support him. The way you said it, that's how it sounds. Like, she summed it up for them, so they didn't have to think for themselves. She just gave them.
She summed it up for them, so they didn't have to think for themselves, which they wouldn't have been able to do.
A push note. First, I'm going to get you to hate him, and then I'm going to give you a couple retard-proof cliff note things to settle in your stomach. Then I'm going to show you some horrible photos and leave them on the screen to look at.
The thing that I find really funny, and it was such a long time from when we first heard these calls to when we finally got to see Donna's trip up in the van on the 20th of November. That's less than 2 weeks after this call. It's 13 days after this call, Donna arrives in Tallahassee. Well, I guess technically she arrived on the 21st. So, okay, call it 2 weeks. 2 weeks after this call, Donna will be in with those people with the tiny minds.
okay. And then the shooting closed again. Let that soak in for another 5 to 10 minutes while I talk to you. You get real angry. So now you hate these people and you're angry. Like, I mean, like, I got done watching, I told you, I said to Kate, I go, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like,
You know. And this is she finished, and I said, who's she talking to, third graders? I mean, it was ridiculous.
there was 5 black women on the jury, 1 black
5 black women on the jury.
guy that was the sergeant I told you about, 1 kind of redneck looking a little bit, like 50-year-old guy, and then 3 guys that looked like they were inbred, that were like out of shape, 30 years old, looked like they never had a girl in their life.
Inbred, out of shape, 30 years old, never had a girl in their lives.
And like, one of them worked at the Florida State bookstore. He was wearing his
One of them worked at the Florida State bookstore.
big sweatshirt during the trial a couple times. And he worked at the Florida State bookstore. Another one's wife was a professor at Florida State. And another one had, so there were 3 people in the jury affiliated with Florida State.
Dude, everybody in Tallahassee works for Florida State University or the police or FDLE, or it's the fucking capital with the big university.
3 affiliated with Florida State and 5 with family members of law enforcement and a sergeant. And that's who we got. Can you imagine what we had to get off?
Yeah.
I mean, we had people that we had to get off because they were married. Her husband was a sheriff's officer, so she could be fair.
Yeah.
So her husband's a sheriff's officer, all the friends are sheriff's officers, but she can be fair. Yeah.
No.
And direct the Kool-Aid, they can come up there and get a fair trial.
Yeah. Wasn't going to happen.
What's that?
No, I said it wasn't going to happen, and we all believed it would because you had the evidence and they did not. It didn't matter.
And Dan explained it to them so well.
Oh my gosh.
You know, if you're in doubt, you have to.
Yeah.
No, but Georgia made it to go down. I think that. So she's like, if you stay so guilty, you got to vote guilty. Like, you can talk to someone who really knows, has a brain on their shoulders, to go beyond a reasonable doubt on a murder one case. You have to be so sure you know what happened.
That's right. And Dan explained that. It was clear.
You have to be so sure you know what happened. Not like, oh, I think, or like, if they knew what happened, they wouldn't be showing Wendy's book, trying to rub it in their face. You think anyone on the jury has ever written a book?
It has nothing to do.
No.
Nothing.
She threw shit in there that had nothing to do with anything. Just as you said, just to antagonize, just to flavor it.
It goes towards voodoo. It's sets, Mom, it's like throwing everything in a salad to make it some flavor.
They throw a lot of shit on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. No, I was flabbergasted.
Harvey, that's not the good time, man. There's actually shit on the wall of Charlie's cell, okay? That sticks. He's like, yeah, they threw a load of shit on the wall, and so what sticks? They pissed all over the floor, and now you're stepping in it. I wonder if Georgia Kappelman actually came into Charlie's cell personally and pissed on the floor.
When I heard her say, even his best friend, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I know. When he said about, even his best friend, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Where are you getting this from? Doesn't matter where she's getting it from. Pull it out of your ass and just say it. Doesn't matter.
From him to me in 2014.
Doesn't matter. You just called him my best friend. Now it seems like I opened up to my best friend, and then we had a falling out, and that's why I said what I said on the stand.
Yeah.
That's why I said what I said on the stand. And, you know, he was a friend that I opened up to. He was my best friend. No, he wasn't.
And Dan also was. Dan went after him. He did. He went after him.
Well, he tore him apart. But then it made it look like he was a friend that we had a falling out. So maybe we were really close at one time.
No, I don't think, honestly, Charlie, I don't think they thought that. I don't think they thought much in general, to be honest with you. They weren't following that. They really weren't.
Yeah.
That wasn't a...
They were probably sleeping there.
I'm like, you know, this is honestly like...
You're never going to have to see. Wait on.
And 12 people, all 12. Like, holy shit.
It was 5 o'clock. They wanted to go home. So that was a... I honestly, if they actually deliberated, it would have taken at least 2 days. At least. You couldn't go over
through the evidence.
To
go through... what Dan was telling them, look at this wire, look at what he says on this wire at this time. This wire is like ZZ at 3 minutes 34 seconds. He says this. Look it up. I'm looking at the jury. I was getting sick. Nobody was writing anything down.
No.
He was giving them exact instructions on where to look. It's just to fast forward and go to this. Nobody gave a shit. They weren't looking it up. I mean, I was sitting there getting sick to myself. Then they bring me down to the cell. My hands are chained to my waist, and I got leg shackles on. I'm talking 1 o'clock, like 1:15. I probably ate lunch till 2, and deliberated probably 2 to 5, right?
No, they were gone at 5. They were gone at 5.
Yeah. So for 3 hours and 45 minutes, I sat in that cell by myself while the jury was deliberating. They
didn't deliberate.
And they came to the guy and said, we have a verdict. And he's like, they have a question for the judge. Anytime there's a question for the judge, they bring you up. I go, do they have a question for the judge? The guy looks at me and goes, no. He goes, no, we got a verdict.
No.
And I go, can you tell me what it is? He goes, I can't tell you. And then I said, well, you have a verdict, could it be longer? And he goes, no. He goes, a verdict.
Yeah, a verdict's a verdict, man. Stop hoping. Oh, do they have a question for the judge? Yeah, the question for the judge is, are we done? Can we go? Yeah, no. A verdict is a verdict. A verdict wouldn't be a hung jury. Fucking moron. That's when there isn't a verdict. Do you have a verdict? No. Okay, go back into the deliberation room. And especially when there only been an hour. Case like that, the way it came out, you think they're going to have a quick fucking... everyone is like unanimous. Yeah, it definitely wasn't him. It was that crazy McBanoa lady and whoever she ran her mouth to. That's who did this.
It means either they're all saying innocent or all saying guilty. So then I had to go walk up.
You know, they didn't even let him put on his tie to come back. It was like, what the fuck's the point?
To the 2 different elevators, walk across.
So good.
Like shackles and chains. And then I'm like, hey, can I put my tie and belt on? And he goes, no, the judge wants you in your chains. That's all. He goes, you're going to sit down and the jury won't see you because you'll have your hands underneath the table. But he doesn't want us to take the shackles off. I'm like, oh, fuck. The way he said it like that, like the judge doesn't even want you putting the tie on. I thought to myself, the judge knows.
No. We knew because of the time.
100%. Neverly. You know, Charlie wanted to flee when Katie was arrested. And all the other people around him were like, if you flee, you'll expose us all. We got to keep this business as usual. Listen, we're going to get Dan Rashbaum on the case. We're retaining him. He said he was retained in 2016, right? He's been scheming this since Katie's arrest. So, Charlie wanted to flee. I got to get out of the country. I got to get to a non-extradition country. I'm going to Vietnam. And all the other Adelsons around him were like, if you do that, you'll expose us all. We can't all flee. We got to keep it cool. But whatever happens, even if you do get busted, we're going to fucking put $5 million into this. We're going to cheat. We're going to pull every string that we can. We're going to get a $1 million jury consultant, charlatan, daylight robber to come in and take our $1 million and speak to the jury for 30 fucking minutes and pretends like he's picked the dream jury. Yeah. So, we're going to take care of it, Charlie. Even if you do get busted, it won't matter because Adelsons win. And this is how we all get away, right? And Charlie was convinced and saw the sense of if he flees, then he'll expose them all. And he's, nothing's happened yet. And nothing did happen for 6 years, right? 6 years he wasn't arrested. And then he was arrested. And then the Adelsons did get him the fucking super high cost defense, jury consultant, all the rest of it. Still didn't work. And now he's saying to Donna, I should have gone with my gut. I should have fled. You better flee because they're coming. But obviously, he can't say those words on the recorded call. That's beyond obvious. I mean, he might as well be saying those words. There's not a chance. There's not a chance that that's not what he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
We knew because of the time.
We saw the time, Charlie.
And I saw your face. I mean, I knew before that just from the time, but I saw your face when you walked in. I mean, it was obvious.
They showed me walking in.
What did we see? We see him.
I saw you sitting without the tie.
Yeah, without the tie.
I saw the time.
Right.
And we know.
Oh, I knew too. You could see it on my face. I wasn't even like.
Yeah.
I mean, I was upset. I was in shock. I just put my head down for a second and then picked my head back up. But I was like,
yeah.
It literally, in 24 hours, I went from feeling like I was ready to win the Super Bowl to finding out that I got cancer.
I know.
We were on the same roller coaster. Trust me, the same roller coaster. Everybody said that.
We were getting
excited.
Texts from people just telling us,
Well, it's not exactly the same roller coaster if you've got a bottle of prescription drugs. We watched the trial high as fuck.
How good you were. And I kept saying to Mom, I told you Charlie would be fine.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. We already knew Dan was going to be great. I didn't know how you would be.
Listen, I said, like, I didn't know how well I was going to do either. I mean, like, that was not rehearsed with Dan. I did not know anything.
Michelle likes Daylight Robber for Josh Dubin. I mean, think about it, Michelle. This guy, who is his perfect customer? Someone with their life on the fucking line, right? And a boatload of cash. What's it going to cost? $1 million. It's chicken feed to the Adelsons. Well, a significant amount of chicken feed. But just amount, that must be one of the highest grossing, as in dollar per hour figure. And I think it's all fucking snake oil, The Emperor's new clothes, what he's selling. You know, I'm amazed that it's not the kind of deal that withholds a portion of payment that they would receive if you are found not guilty. If they manage to pick you a jury that does favor you, you know, I'd imagine it would be like, okay, my fee is $100,000 to do it, but if you get off, it's $1 million. And we want a fucking airtight contract on that, baby. You know, I guess there might be problems, but yeah, the Josh Dubin's favorite client is someone who's facing a life sentence and has the money to spend. Because when you're talking about the rest of your life, what is $1 million? Nothing. Take the $1 million if you've got it. I wonder how many of those he does a year, huh? I wonder what Josh Dubin drives.
At all. Nothing. I knew none of what he was going to ask me. At all. He's like, the reason you can't know is because when Kaplan asks you questions, if you come off too good with me and you're not good with her, it's going to look like we practice this. Right. You got it. So his answer was,
it completely looks like that anyway, and especially with Wendy. We have never met before. No, well, we have met before, twice, and we didn't prepare any of this. So why did everything sound like you were reading?
Really smart. He's like, listen, you have to know the case, whether I'm asking the questions or she's asking the questions. Otherwise, you're going to look really.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy, for helping us reach our goal with the super chat at the top of the chat. If you want to support the channel, guys, go to buymeacoffee.com to buymeacoffee.com. Click the target chat thing for super chats at the top of the chat, or just leave a big old thumb on the video. That'd be great.
Smart when I ask questions and really dumb when she asks questions. So you might as well know everything, and I'm not going to give you my notes. So I was nervous sometimes because I was like, I didn't know how I was getting it, you know, how I was looking or how I was sounding. And then she got to me, and I thought I did really well.
You did. You beat her up. You beat her up.
Yeah. That's what people were saying. It's like, he's hammering Appleman. Like, you know, everyone's saying, like, great stuff. The people are following that are smart. The people on the jury, Mom.
Oh, God.
And I hate to say it, but I fucking knew it. I knew, and I said it 100 times when I was in South Florida. The Tallahassee jury, the Tallahassee people, they're going to fucking hate me. I'm going to look like some rich white Jew coming from South Florida. I had no idea she was going to put on a production that she did, but up until that point, I thought everything was coming together. Until she totally derailed from, like, don't listen to the evidence, just listen to what I tell you is the evidence. Even his best friend, Ryan Fitzpatrick, even his sister. Here, let me show you snippets of, like, cut and paste. Like, I honestly, I would have been so much better off.
I know.
Looking at it from a different perspective, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you.
Yeah, we understand perfectly what you mean, and so does everybody listening to this call.
Yeah,
I would have been so much better off looking at it from a different perspective, a non-extradition perspective. If I was looking at this case from Vietnam, I would have been so much better off.
Like I hate, you know, you can't live in hindsight, but I had some smart people say things to me. I really believed in the system, and I thought, like, it was. I thought
I believed in the system. I believed I could cheat the system, is what he means. I believed in the system. This fucking guy. What a guy.
It was a winnable situation, and I thought it would come across, and I feel like it did. Like, literally, up until Up until she put 2 hours of TV show on.
Yeah.
It did.
Honestly, after that, because what she was showing was in black and white. She went away from testimony. She went away from what people were saying. She was putting her new spin on the testimony, and she was giving it like the George Cappleman glare. They want to put the kids in Nazi uniforms. Oh, people are fucking crazy. Oh my God.
They didn't realize what they were doing. Stupid, yeah.
Stupid, really stupid. You don't just take stupid and take someone's life away.
Yeah.
Like, I still can't believe I lost my wife, but I did wrong. I really, I know it's not over. I know we're still going to play. Let me explain something to you. It's the likelihood of something getting like Dan said. He said, you got to get an appellate lawyer. Just don't spend a fortune on them. They're expensive. You got to at least do it
Hey, Constance, how you doing?
just in case. To get something brought back on appeal, or maybe in 9 months from now, a juror writes or says something stupid. But he's like, this judge put a lot of stuff in. It's not like we have a lot of grounds to, I definitely didn't have an effective counsel.
Yeah. Dan, what do we do now? Dan? Well, you can hire an appellate lawyer, but don't spend a ton of money, because this is hard to win. I mean, maybe in a year and a half, 2 years, a juror might write something stupid. Miracles do happen. Miracles, that's just what you want, isn't it? Your advice. Miracles do happen. Forget the miracles, okay?
You can either go ineffective counsel, blame the judge, or blame the jury. Other than that, the jury has spoken.
Yeah, your best bet always is to blame the counsel, which you should start doing the moment your conviction comes. Blaming the judge is not something that you really, that can be defined by another party, whether the judge was improper or not. A panel or whatever, appellate panel of judges can look at the judge and say, no, nothing improper. Same with the jury. With the lawyer, it's different. We saw a lot of that with Sarah Boone, right? With your lawyer, it's more about your personal experience. It may be more difficult for an outside party to speak with absolute authority on whether or not there was ineffective assistance of counsel. You should start blaming your own lawyer. These people who get convicted, like fucking Christopher Nab or somebody, right? And the judge is like, did you have any problem with your lawyer on this case? I think he did a great job. It's like, man, you shut the fuck up. It happens a lot. There's this loyalty. Idiots. You should start blaming your own attorney the minute you get a conviction, because that's your best bet to go the appellate route, right? Prosecutor, judge, jury. That's the only other, maybe scientific testing, but that wouldn't be the case in this matter. There's really no, I mean, there isn't an alternative theory. It's not like years from now there will be blood that was collected at the scene, but they never could get a DNA match, and that blood showed to be Jeff Lacasse. Ooh. It was him. Oh, God. Wouldn't that be great? Jeff Lacasse set the whole thing up. He's going to be picking up Luis Rivera from the fucking jail in 2031 or whatever it is. Luis Rivera walks down the hallway, accosted by, no, what do you call it? Not accosted. What is the word? Flanked by two guards taking him to the property drawer. They're going to give him his civilian clothes, and just as he walks out of the gates, he sees a parked vehicle with the engine running. Just as you see him get into the passenger seat of the car, the camera pans, inside shot of the car, to reveal the driver as Jeffrey Lacasse, who turns to Luis Rivera and says, "I thought you weren't going to get caught." Even if we don't make the whole movie, surely we can make just the final scene. What is it? Who's in the back? Shardrick Nobles, who says, "Is anyone hungry?" And then Lewis says, "How about Yardbird?" And they all go to Yardbird. And as they drive off, the last shot is the dangling air freshener from the rearview mirror, which is the owl. It's good. It's so good. We got to make just that final scene. What do we need as a budget? I reckon we can do it on a shoestring. Hey, thanks so much, Evan, for the fantastic super chat. Metrix's rant tonight is hilarious about fleeing. I forgot what I said about that. Oh, it all just gets mashed up in my mind. But thank you, Evan, so much for the kind and generous support.
It's very weird for me. Like I'm fucking going crazy in my head and this shit at the cell, thinking like I actually thought I was going to get a fair jury up here. This was a fucking shit. Like I never should have. When Enzo died, it should have been my side.
Yeah.
I should have.
I know.
I know exactly what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know.
Things you don't have to say. I know exactly what you're saying.
You know.
We both.
It's like I fucking now I feel like a fucking.
I know.
Well, Christina says it's difficult to blame Rashbaum for ineffective assistance of counsel when Donna already hired him for the next round. Well, I don't think so. I mean, that's a different trial, different client. And it might actually give him more ammunition because of the whole conflict thing. I mean, Rashbaum was removed from Donna's case, handling Donna's case. It was that serious. So I should think that there are grounds within that conflict that work the other way, and mean that as Rashbaum was sort of this, multi-cliented conduit between two separate but co-conspirators, there probably would be some grounds to unpack ineffective assistance of counsel for purposes of appeal.
Now I don't like that.
Have you talked to Dan about this? All
I
theory.
Yeah, no.
But the worst thing Charlie is doing is saying on the phone, "Dan played an A game. He's the closing master. He tore that witness apart." He's just fucking praising him for hours, constantly.
I trust me. Kate wanted to get up and leave while I was talking to Dan. He spent 45 minutes with him today. She was ready to go, and I'm like, she was up on the side. I could almost take her. I could tell she was rushing him. And Dan's like, "Give me 10 more minutes." I'm like, "Dan, I know I'm repeating myself. I know I am." Like,
Michelle says, "Christina, very good point, but and I'm sure if he tries that, Rash will be saying exactly that as a defense." Well, I don't think I mean, it's not like Rashbaum will need to defend himself and insist that he did what was ineffective. It's not like they have a trial about that. In fact, I think most of the time a defense attorney expects the convicted defendant to claim ineffective assistance and concedes that. I mean, that's kind of, it might be an unwritten rule, but it's sort of within the realm of within the realm of supporting your client. I mean, at that point, once they've been convicted, that is the best way to support your client. Of course, they may need to defend themselves in their own, if there is a, what do you call it, a bar, like if Rashbaum had to report to the Florida bar for something underhanded, but that would be a separate issue. You know, it's not like if Charlie says to Judge Everett or the appellate judge, I had ineffective assistance of counsel, that Rashbaum would come in and say, no, I didn't provide ineffective assistance because of X, Y, Z. You know, that's not how it works, I don't think.
Fine. Like Dan, you did a great job, but I should have, I said it, I told him what I really thought I should have done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, and you could have done this case 100 times up here. You were not going to win. And he said, not with that jury.
Yeah.
But that was with Josh Dubin helping us weed through the shit that was there.
Yeah, that's all that was left.
And the problem was we were using our exes to get people off that could not be on the jury in a million years. They were using their exes to get people off that would have seen what happened, seen my side. That's really like, we should have gotten twice as many exes if we were going to play that game. Because it wasn't, the people coming in were so tainted. To give us 10 and them 10 was a joke. We should have had 30 and they should have had 5. You know, I mean, you put the change of venue motion in. But I just feel like if they change the motion to a small town in the Panhandle, it would be the biggest event that ever happened there. It would be, it's on, I'm riding into the court in the morning, and Preston Scott is obsessed with my case.
Yeah,
and he has a lawyer that calls in, this mentor lawyer call in, and he's like giving the play-by-play and like giving it scenarios on it, and like he's obsessed. Every morning he talks about my case. We're driving in the transport van, and the officer's listening to Preston Scott, and I'm sitting in the van and I'm listening to Preston Scott and the lawyer talking about me. Oh, and my course, my suit is all shackled up, and I'm like, this feels like a fucking movie. Like, and it's the only thing you can know is you were convicted, Kappelman won, you lost. You lost just the way anyone else loses. But it's like, George said beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, if you use your reasoning and you think you're guilty, you're not guilty. Like, these people fucking hated me. And they used all this extraneous stuff of like, when he advanced the worst and it was tumultuous. Well, most of the words are, but like, they made it out to.
There's a link there, Linda Feldman, and you click it and you accept the invitation, and then you're into the Metrix Discord. And everyone should click the link and join the Metrix Discord.
They made it out like I mean, they painted such a fucking picture. There was not a chance in hell I was going to get a fair shake in this town. That's your bottom line.
I want to tell you, we were where you were over that weekend. We were all where you were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody thought anything different other than pretty obvious. I mean, he put on an amazing case. Charlie testified perfectly. It's done. He got it.
Yeah.
Everybody said the same thing.
We were very happy. You know.
Like, what the fuck? These people, like, it almost should be like a do-over if you have such a bad verdict from, like, but it's the verdict produced by a prosecutor that brought it was able to bring down the shit that has nothing to do with me. But it's enough to make you hate my sister. It's enough to make you hate my mother. It's enough to make you hate me.
I think, Paul M., as far as Charlie's concerned, unless Georgia Kappelman provides the jury with a time machine and they can travel back in time to actually watch the events unfold, then they don't know what happened, and that is reasonable doubt.
And it's one thing if they just hate you. It's another thing if they hate your whole family and they feel like you're shitting on them in Tallahassee. Miami people coming up here and really like belittling us, comic book. There's only one reason why Kappelman read that line from her book. There's only one reason, and it's to drive home the message that Wendy thinks she's smarter than everybody else. She foreshadowed her move in a book. She even wrote a book about the move. She knew this move was going to happen. She even wrote a book about it. What was the name of that town, Wendy? That you refer to as a small stop in their plans on the way to civilization. I mean, it is kind of crazy that she wrote a book and put that in there, don't you think?
What?
I mean, it is kind of creepy that she wrote a book and put that line in there with that town. Like, she could have left that line out of the book. But she didn't know, like, she was just writing a book.
Of course.
Like, she could have called the town Biloxi. She could have fucking left the line out about it being on a small stop on
Biloxi? Why would she call it Biloxi?
the small stop along the way on the way to civilization. Like, it sounds like she's foreshadowing a future event in her book.
You know what we should do? We should send Charlie a copy of the book, signed from all of the Metrix team.
Doesn't it?
Well, she made it sound like that. I know.
I mean, how many kids does this lady have in the book? 2 boys? What does this lady's husband do? He's an English professor? So he's a school professor? What school does he teach at? What school does he teach out of the book?
I don't know. Do you know?
What's that?
I don't know.
Like,
what school he taught at? I have no.
Northern Florida State University, NFSU. How does she not know that?
I read it ages ago.
So many years ago.
I think it's North Florida State University.
Yeah. Make it up. I don't know.
So the husband's a professor at what school? He's at North Florida State University. And how many boys does she have? 2 boys. And what's the name of that town? Sounds just like that. And what we say is that it's just a small stop on the way to civilization. Like, that sounds, I mean, I'm just telling you, if someone read that line in a book and the author was Wendy, it would sound like she is foreshadowing her big move to Miami, right before she buys a model of home bourbon. Like, and then she's driving by, and then did you like the Kappelman goes, she couldn't help herself. She had to drive out her crime scene to make sure it was done.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only liquor store she's ever been to in Tallahassee and bought something. So she went home with it. She was good. But you know what it looks like?
Oh,
It looks like well, let me just tell you something. That right there is 1 in a million. That she goes on that date at that time by the street on the house, and then they say that she wanted to make sure the job was done.
right.
I mean, those things like that. Listen, you can't dispute that she didn't take that route. She took the route.
She did.
But she was there, and she did a 3-point turn.
That's right.
So when you're sitting and you're evaluating the case,
It wasn't where they said.
right?
But Charlie, you're missing out. She would take that route as a method of coming to terms with the divorce that she instigated and viciously, viciously, what is the word? Pursued, or I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like, I guess you could see police. They were who knows? But I'm just saying, one says 2 or 3, one says 4 or 5. But the point is, the fact that she put her fucking car there on that time at that date on the way out of her way is enough for people to go, whoa. She must have known something was going on. There's no way she shows up there on that date, on that time, without having prior knowledge. She's involved.
The same nonsense about the bullet bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the bullet bourbon got squashed because they had the email.
Yeah. They
That
had the invitation. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the invitation that was sent for 2 people getting married for a stop the bar party to show that to request a bottle of liquor.
A specific one.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
That's
It's crazy.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy. She's going to buy a bottle of bullet bourbon to celebrate that night. Like, if she didn't have that email, there's no explaining it. She doesn't drink alcohol. There's 5,000 bottles in the store. She passes by the crime scene, and she goes and buys a bottle of bullet bourbon to celebrate that night.
Yeah. Insane.
There's no.
The
if I
chances
heard,
are so ridiculous.
listen, calling my parents' home line, that's not crazy. But that, driving by the scene, out of her way, and going to buy a bottle of bullet bourbon, I would have to say, like,
I know.
if it smells like shit, it is shit. But no, she really was going to buy a bottle of liquor. She really was.
If it smells like shit on the wall in my cell, then it is shit on the wall in my cell and piss on the floor. That Georgia did. Let's have a look at the invitation. This is their big thing. Oh, that got thrown out. Some fucking bullshit template. Stock the bar. You're invited, so please come on over to a Stock the Bar couples shower for Lauren and Jamie. Friday, July 18th, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And then a little tag. Help the bride and groom stock the bar for their wedding by bringing a bottle of bullet bourbon or your favorite wine or spirits. And I don't know. For, some young couple getting married, they're going to stock the entire wedding with bourbon. I mean, maybe if it was a wedding in Kentucky, held in a holler, miners getting married, with a bluegrass theme. Yeah, well, let's have a bourbon fucking fountain. I don't know, but maybe. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of cocktails that you can make with bourbon, I guess. It just doesn't seem like, you know, I don't know. I'm not from the South, obviously. Um, does that sound possible to anybody? That a couple, supposedly in their mid-30s, would, you know, fully stock their wedding bar with nothing but bourbon, or primarily bourbon. I just don't think it's something that is like, you know, it's a little bit of an acquired taste. I think many people in attendance at the wedding wouldn't really usually drink bourbon. It just seems like an odd thing I mean, there's no question about it that this tag, help the bride and groom stock the bar for their wedding by bringing a bottle of bullet bourbon or your favorite wine or spirit. I mean, the fact that it's saying bullet bourbon in the primary position of the request indicates a weighted preference for everybody to bring a bullet bourbon. Or are we to believe that they had individual tags printed with different... Fuck off. No one's going to do that. If it were that, it would be printed with just a space there and they would write it on. Why? Because, you know, it's cheaper at the copy shop. But I think this whole fucking thing is bullshit. I mean, you know what you need to do? You need to go to, I think Lauren is dead now. But find Jamie and say, is this an invitation that you handed out? Because I've never heard that. I don't buy this at all. And it's only something that came to light before Charlie's trial. It was never mentioned in McBanower 2 or Sigfredo McBanower. Garcia McBanower.
Because that's the only fucking store she ever been to. But she said, listen, she couldn't help herself. She had to go to check it
out. Christina, let's just bring it up again quickly. I mean, the wording of it to me says, help the bride and groom stock the bar for their wedding by bringing a bottle of bullet bourbon. I mean, I understand the concept of a stock the bar at your house, but this little thing here, the wording is help the bride and groom stock the bar for their wedding. I mean, that to me says the bar that will be serving people at the wedding, right? Don't you agree, Christine? I mean, it'd be even worse if it was just their house. Yeah, we want 30 bottles, 30 liters of bourbon.
They have to make sure it was done. Okay, that sounds really good. It makes her sound like she's a part of it. And if she's a part of it, then I must be a part of it. So, which story do you think makes more sense? I mean, what is the fucking chances of God's green earth that she goes out of her way and drives out of that street from that time, on that day?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is. I mean, you can't even believe it.
I hate to say it, but it's almost like it's things like that that can make somebody shut out everything else, all the other things that you're saying, and you go, look, on this date, on this time, she leaves her house. She takes a route that's 5 miles longer. She drives by the scene on this date at this time. Why on God's green earth is she doing that to go to a liquor store when she could go to three of them that are closer? It's called being at the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's not a good explanation. The explanation they want to hear is she's a part of it. She knows. She has to know. How else would she be there? And that's what the jury listens to. And they go, I mean, to me, does that make sense? I mean, if I'm on the jury, yeah. She's showing up, isn't she?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy, fucking crazy. But think about it. What are the statistical chances of her leaving her house and driving by that scene on that date at that time and not being involved?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. It is. It's
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Christina, and that's quite possible. But, I just, in instances where I've seen similar printing where the portion, in this case, bullet bourbon, is interchangeable with something else, but the rest of the text is the same, it would be left blank and it would be written in or with a sticker or, I mean, just for the fact of the cost. And all right, it's not going to be a huge cost or anything, but, it's more of an inconvenience for the print shop. It's more of an inconvenience for the graphics thing. I mean, it's kind of. I don't believe that this is a real invitation anyway. So it's not really. There's nothing to prove apart from it's fake.
absolutely crazy. It's crazy. But it's true. It's what happened.
Yeah, but
It's what happened. But I'm asking, what are the chances that her husband was just murdered? She's leaving her house and driving by the crime scene, but has no knowledge of anything going on.
And they made a big deal like, well, why didn't she call daycare? Why would she call daycare?
She got a tree fell.
That's exactly because it happens all the time. Of course. Yeah.
Because they have those summer storms and the trees fall, and like she just was like, like, they didn't think anything of it. They thought a tree fell, and they were cornering off, and then cutting the tree, and walking up the road when it's over. But, what are like, if I was sitting at the bar and somebody was telling me this story, that's one part of the story I have a really hard time getting over. Is what is she doing there on that date at that time, leaving her house to go over a mountain that she doesn't need to go and go to turn on this street?
yeah, it's a coincidence,
Yeah.
But people don't like to hear it's a coincidence when
No,
it's 1 in a million.
No, they don't.
No?
They don't.
They don't, because you can
And that
only
was
think
1 in
word.
a million. That was 1 in a million. That was insane.
That was 1 in a million. That literally was like,
It blows your mind.
Yeah.
oh, never mind. I mean, what else do you have to say? Like, if I was on that jury and you start hearing, well, okay, that was a coincidence. Okay, and then the TV repairman, the TV joke, the mom saying this TV is about 5, lots of TV talk, just a coincidence. I wish you picked another object on planet Earth other than the TV set to say it costs they wanted $5,000. We should just said they wanted $5,000. My response was they wanted $5,000. I mean, by the way, you didn't bring up TV until the third call. If TV was a really important code word, wouldn't you have said and called one?
First call.
Wouldn't you have said and called 2?
Well,
You don't mention TV, so call 3.
That's what they don't get. Yeah.
But when you put TV, three things surrounding that same TV, her hourglass TV, the TV,
Hey, thanks again, Evan. Stock the rubber draw. The rubber draw. I don't know what that means. Explain it, Evan. We want to know.
$5,000 that I forgot to show up in the TV joke. All the rest. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of TV showing up 3 times in relation to, they think there has to be a code word, and they give it a code name.
Yeah, they had a chart with all these code words. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It has to be a part of it. Has to. Guess what? Had nothing to fucking do with it. Nothing. But listen, if I'm on the jury and I'm seeing I'm seeing the TV joke, the TV repairman at the house on the 18th, and then when you're describing how much the guy wants, you have to reference the TV. Guess what? That looks really, it's a coincidence, but it's a strange coincidence because you couldn't take any other object. I wish I didn't have a repairman there, and I wish I never made that joke, but you've got all three kind of revolving around the same subject matter. Why? Coincidence.
Do you see any evidence in there? No.
But coincidence that Wendy was showing up at the house at that time on that day, out of her way, 10 miles from her house, leave Georgia Castleman to go. She had to check to make sure it was done. So you're sitting there on the jury and you've got to think of one of two things. If she showed up there to make sure the job was done, she'd still be held. If she's guilty, then I'm guilty. Or it was just a coincidence, which is what it was.
She thought it was.
But it's a 1 in a million coincidence. And how many times can you say it's a 1 in a million coincidence before you're explaining what they think is what are the chances of it being a coincidence? You know, I mean,
Hear what you're saying.
I mean, then you start playing people for stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, if you want to pull everything as a coincidence, eventually you're going to be like, wait, I am stupid. Like, that was a perfect example of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like,
yeah.
But they would never back off of it because everyone knows what are the chances you're 10 miles from your house. I mean, how far did she live from it? 10 miles?
No.
Oh, was it?
No, I think it was closer. It only took about 15 minutes, and we're talking about slow and mostly back roads. So no.
10 miles? 6, 7 miles?
Yeah.
Okay. But you look at where you are 6, 7 miles away, and it's unrelated.
Yeah. The only way she knew how to get there, she doesn't normally go to a liquor store.
Right, but there was not a shorter route, but it doesn't matter. You're there on that date, on that time, 6 miles from your house, and what's the reason?
Right.
You went out of your way to go to a liquor store when you could have gone another way? That's just creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. It is.
But it's just a coincidence.
I know. But
It's so funny because on the one hand, Donna and Harvey are saying, yeah, okay, we get it. We know. Like, we know that you're really fucking pissed off about Wendy showing up at the scene, and we get how that was bad for you. But at the same time, they've got to be like maintaining, but it was a coincidence, just a coincidence. And they're saying it in a way that is like, because they can't say to Charlie on the recorded phone call, listen, do not stop talking about this. What are you, mad? You fucking stuck. It's so obvious what you're doing, Charlie. And, you know, they're trying to remind him by agreeing with him, but also letting him know that they understand his frustration. There's a free thing going on there, and it's so funny.
You know, and then what she wrote in the book, that's just a coincidence. So it's like the TV's a coincidence, showing up there's a coincidence.
how many years ago did you write the book?
She did search for the closest one, Pauline. She said that she put it in her GPS, and that was the one that came up. I mean, that has been part of, I can't remember when it was. I think it was in the interview. I'm not sure if it's been said on the stand or not.
No.
08, 09, something like that.
Many years ago.
808.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was a coincidence.
I took a picture for the front page.
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was writing about the immigration lawyer. She's an immigration lawyer. The lady's got 2 boys. She's got 2 boys. Lady's husband, school professor. her husband was a school professor. She was stuck in some town in the middle of nowhere on the way to civilization. Like, that's a nice slap in the face for a town that sounds just like you're describing you and your family, and a town that sounds just like Tallahassee, and now you're going to say that's a coincidence? And you were happy in that getting stuck someplace on the way to civilization? Like, you start, I do see the other side, and you start rolling that together, and you gotta start explaining what the coincidence is, and it sounds like she's writing about herself.
But there's also a North Florida State University.
No, it was a school she made up the name.
Yeah, but I'm saying there is a North Florida.
No, there's a University of North Florida, something like that. But it was like North Florida State University. I mean, it was like one letter off from Florida State. Listen, she was probably writing a book about herself.
And now Harvey's trying to reshape it to reference another university. Is this one? North Florida. University of North Florida. Yeah, but the real life university in Tallahassee is called Florida State University, and the fictional one in the book in Hiawassee is called Northern Florida State University. Now, does that sound closer as a reference to Florida State University or the University of North Florida? Obviously, like saying, well, it could be either one. That was selective. The state, they selected it to make it fit. What are you trying to pull, man? How stupid do you sound? That's ridiculous.
I mean, she was using her characters, drawing upon herself, but it makes it seem like she's just like shitting on Tallahassee, and then she's like giving them the middle finger on the way out and writing a book about it. I know. I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's just
it was
coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. That's all it was. And it's a book with a line that she never probably thought about, and she just threw in there, like as an offhanded comment, because Tallahassee was a place she probably didn't really plan on staying. She never planned on staying. But, like, she's grown accustomed to it and was fine with staying. But, like, the way it sounds in the book is like she got stuck someplace on the way to civilization. The way it sounds when you're showing up at the crime scene, going out of your way, when you live 6-7 miles away, hard to explain. TV sets getting repaired on that day, the same TV set that I bought her as a joke, the same TV set you referenced when the Lion King guy wanted to extort you for money. You need a reference to TV set. Like 3 TV sets in a row, all the same topic. Come on now. We're not stupid. Like, I kind of see, like, you're dumbing down coincidences. I mean, if she didn't have that email for the bullet bourbon.
Oh, the invitation, yeah.
If she didn't have that email invitation.
That would look really bad, right?
Well, you think she just drives by the crime scene and there's 5,000 bottles in the liquor store?
Yeah, it would look really bad, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's a good job we had Harvey with his photoshopping skills to whip up a fucking basic template of a generic invitation to fit and to okay, I'm getting tired. What is the word? To reassign the responsibility onto a third party. Wasn't that lucky?
Yeah. And you buy the only one that says bullet to go celebrate that night? Now you want to tell me that's a coincidence? You're going to say, John, that's a coincidence now too? Right. How many times do you want to give an explanation if that's a coincidence? It was.
Charlie, the big thing you're missing is that it was a total coincidence that there were so many coincidences. They all happened at once, and then they became one giant coincidence.
She got the invitation to prove it. 15 years ago, TV just did cost a couple thousand. Family Feud, said what's the most common item that you just think of that cost $4,000, $5,000? People listen to TV set.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but 15
Family Feud, is that what he said?
years ago, yeah. You probably bought your last set in 10. So, yeah, it happened. But it's kind of like when you start telling people, this is a crazy coincidence, this is a crazy coincidence, this is a crazy coincidence, that's really hard to start doing that with each fact that comes into the case.
No, I know. I mean, when you talk about it and analyze it the way you are,
you don't need to hear much else. I mean, when it told you how she felt in the book, thank God she had that invitation to email.
Shirley, you're breaking up. Shirley?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I lost you for a second. I can hear you.
Okay. But it's like, thank God she had that email. Without that email, if someone told you she drove out of her way, drove by the crime scene, picked up a bottle of bullet burns and celebrate that night, what would you say? She had to know.
Of course.
She had to know.
Yeah.
There's no way she couldn't have. She was going to celebrate that night with a bottle of bullet burns. There's 5,000 fucking bottles in a liquor store to buy. That's what she buys. Not a bottle of champagne.
He's so funny, isn't he? Oh.
Not beer, not rum, not tequila. There's 50 different kinds of bourbon. She buys bullet bourbon.
I mean, it's so insane. I mean, you're right. It was the fact that she had it there.
The one thing she buys in that whole store of the 5,000 items in our liquor store, not Chardonnay, not Rosé, bullet bourbon. Because most girls like bourbon. Girls don't even drink bourbon. They'll drink a glass of wine. They drink vodka.
Oh, now he's going to go on to his girls don't even drink bourbon. Girls will have a glass of wine. They'll have vodka, not bourbon.
Vodka. Yeah, very few women are bourbon drinkers. This one is buying bottles of bullet bourbon as she leaves her house, goes out of the way, and passes by the crime scene. Why do you think they took a picture of it? Because they're like, holy shit. Yeah. It has to be. I mean, if she didn't have that email, and it was just someone who told her verbally to buy it, it would have been like, oh, I don't remember what I told her to buy.
Yeah.
Like, thank God she had that. Without that, they probably delivered it an hour less. I mean, it would have been like, everything's a coincidence. TV Joe, TV repairman. And by the way, you know why a TV repairman is the world's worst alibi?
Why?
Half the time you schedule a repairman, you schedule them from 12 to 1, from 9 to 12. They call and they schedule, they bump you to the afternoon, where they cancel on you. You would never have an alibi for a repairman. I mean, how many times do you have a repair scheduled on delivery and they call and cancel it or change it?
Sure.
Well, it's a good job it wasn't an alibi then, Charlie. I mean, it was a plausible reason to give cause for a triangulation of calls between parties, conspirators. Wendy, Donna, Wendy, Wendy, Charlie, Wendy. It's the chevron of conspirators. Charlie, I think the whole thing about Charlie buying a TV for Wendy is bullshit. I don't believe Wendy left fucking the Markel house without a TV. I believe she probably left Markel without a TV. She took everything in the house, pretty much. I mean, we have the records of how much she took from that house. And it was an operation. They had U-Haul lined up. I mean, it wasn't like one woman grabbing her children and packing a bag and running while the, husband was away. It was an orchestrated, planned out, booked, professional movers job. Right? You telling me she didn't take a fucking TV? I'm going to take half the dining chairs, but I'll leave you all the TVs. Yeah, okay. So I don't believe there was a present as the TV. I think that's made up to give this purpose, right? So the story is Charlie offered to buy the TV. Good brother, loving brother. What does she need? I'll get her anything she needs. Wendy's in trouble? Does she have a TV? When you go to Tallahassee, go to Best Buy. Pick out a really nice set. You buy it, and I'll pay you back. I'll get the bill for the TV. Yeah, okay, bullshit. But anyway, that situation gives this great chevron of conspirators, doesn't it? It's Donna purchased the TV and the Geek Squad care package or whatever. So her registered number, I mean, you know how sometimes it is with Best Buy that your store membership will hold the essential details like your phone number that might go on to a Geek Squad care package on future purchases, so that every time you go into Best Buy and you make a new purchase, it's quicker, right? We just put your card. Oh, you want the Geek Squad package? Done. Because we already know your details from your membership card, right? And you know that Donna Adelson had a fucking membership card for every shop she went in. Points, collecting points, special offer points, everything, right? They love a deal, especially that one. So Donna's number is on the Geek Squad thing, but the address is Wendy's house. So there's a reason for a series of calls to happen on murder morning between Donna and Charlie. Now it's Charlie that actually did the paying and maybe might, have technical knowledge. He's always going on about tech, oh, you can get a 60-inch set for $500 now. Oh, it's like he's advising Janice. He loves talking tech. So maybe, he paid for it and sorry, what time is it? He paid for it and he maybe has more technical knowledge. So there's the excuse of the calls on murder morning between Wendy and Charlie. Now, there's nothing to connect Charlie and Donna. Not that there doesn't need to be on murder morning, even though they call each other every fucking day, so it wouldn't be so like out of the ordinary for them to have a call, but they probably didn't on that day. But nevertheless, they've created the conspirators' chevron, so it's not an alibi, and he well knows it's not an alibi. Right?
If they showed up at 9, they could have been left by 9:30. Like my point is, they can also call you at 9 and say you need to come at 1. Like, I mean, what did you need an alibi for?
Yeah.
But it kind of all fits in with the unluckiness of you saying TV was 5. And by the way, it was such code. As soon as you say the TV is about 5, I'm like, they wanted $5,000. Like, I give a shit about what the TV 5 means. But I'm like, I blurt out exactly what I'm trying to make sure you're saying is. I'm like, that's crazy. You know, and like, you don't mention TV till the third call, yet it's so important. So basically, if I didn't call you back a third time, I wouldn't have got that back in code word. You know, if you dissect it like that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have missed the code word if I only called you twice. So you called me, I called you back, and then I called you back the third time. So code word obviously meant nothing if you had to wait for the third call to tell me. The repairman being an alibi, what the fuck did she need an alibi for? She's not involved. So, like, what was she? She was worried they would suspect that she was the shooter, so she got the alibi. If she wanted an alibi, she could have made an appointment for herself on the other side of town that she would have kept, not worried that a repairman cancels on her. You know, if a repairman cancels on you, the alibi is all gone. I mean, but still, the crazy thing is the route she took and the time she took, and then having to make it the U-turn on the street. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, but Charlie, you know, it's alibi enough that she was sending emails from her house corresponding with the, you know, the cloud documents for FSU. Everything's timestamped, IP address. She can prove digital footprint record that she was at her house, or at least that those functions were being carried out on a computer at her house, and without a serious amount of speculation. You know, you could say, well, Wendy could have had someone else pretend to be her in her house, sending emails from her email address to people in the university while she snuck away to murder Dan. No, it's basically cast iron proof that she was in the house.
Like, that's what they don't just.
I know, Leslie, he's pissed, and it's just getting good, but I think we've got to find a place to wrap it up. Find a place to wrap it up. I'll try and find a good place, but we've got about an hour left. Well, actually, not quite that much, but just push it.
Down to, but there are some coincidences. There's no doubt, but I think people don't like hearing that there's coincidence. They don't like things explained by a coincidence, especially the one in the village.
Yeah.
Like that timing.
It's all of those things, Charlie. All of those things that just.
You know, and then also, by the way, the book that she wrote in 2008, like, she wrote the book 6 years earlier. Like,
That's right.
maybe 2008, 2009. I mean, did she even have her kids at that point?
Ben wasn't born until July 09.
So she may have only had one kid at that time. She may have been pregnant with the second one.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, like, it's kind of crazy that she put that line in the book and named the city after Tallahassee. So it sounded just like Tallahassee to me when she read it out. Like, it makes the shoe fits. She's obviously talking about herself, taking a place that she feels stuck on the way to civilization with her professor husband. Like, you start putting those things together. I mean, look, none of them have fucking anything to do with me. Like, nothing.
Nothing.
But since it is her movements up here in Tallahassee, you have to assume that everybody's connected. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be. There's no way that, you know, those are independent of me. You know, and then they go back to tie a motive. They don't get it.
No. No, they don't.
I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody will do a book or a movie and actually take our side and maybe get it.
I haven't. I've thought of it.
I mean, it's like, you know, maybe somebody will like, listen, if the jury didn't act improperly or the judge didn't make any bad rules.
Did he say someone's going to write a book or a movie and take our side and get it? Is that what he said? Yeah, someone's going to write a movie where it was Jeff Lacasse who set the whole thing up, and he's going to pick up Luis Rivera from prison in 2032. And that someone is me. But it's, it's going to be satirical. It's not what I believe. I just think it's a cool concept. Oh man, I think we gotta leave it there. What time are we? 3 hours 40. Oh man, if I don't go to sleep now, it's gonna be light. It just fucks me up. But it's Saturday tomorrow, so we can do a short earlier show and then maybe an extra one in the evening. So I think we'll wrap up this call tomorrow, maybe lunchtime. I also want to have a quick look at Josh Dubin. What time are we on this? 1 hour and 5. Everybody remember 1 hour and 5. Or I could just write it down. I don't know where my pen is. God damn it. Okay. We are gonna go. We promise we'll be back tomorrow. And thank you so much to people who leave comments and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel on buymeacoffee.com/Metrix. And thank you to the super chatters and the super sticker givers. Actually, we didn't get any of those today, but that's okay because we got super chats. Oh, look, the target's just got 3 minutes and 51 seconds left. So I guess we'll let that play out.
I didn't have an ineffective counsel. I had a great counsel. Yeah. So you have to have a reason to appeal the case.
No, Charlie, you just said on record. That was unequivocal, wasn't it? I didn't have ineffective assistance of counsel. I had great counsel. And then in your appeal, I am filing for ineffective assistance of counsel from my shit counsel. Whoops.
Other than you had a bunch of coincidences and a stupid jury.
Stupid jury.
Yeah. Like, but all those things that they were building in, like that was their. They were allowed to bring it in. It spoke to both. It spoke to state of mind. It spoke to like nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
it's so crazy that you can't even imagine that it's real. I mean, it is. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm here, and I'm like, I literally never, especially after this weekend,
Yeah, acapella, and it's Jeff Lacasse who has been running the northern faction of the Miami Kings. No, sorry, the Latin Kings. You see how tired I am? What am I fucking talking about? The Miami Kings. Yeah, we're nationwide, but our name is Miami. 41 states now, but we're all called Miami Kings. Oh.
million fucking years. Like, I was basically almost like, in the best, I didn't feel like I was in jail. I literally, like, was in such a good headspace and was like, went and played basketball, too tall, I had to play basketball with him, and months, and like, I'll play a couple of games and get a shot at time. You know, giving my fourth away. Yeah, I never played fours. I gave my foot away. Made a couple phone calls to keep out of the hospital a long time. Kind of like hearing positive feedback. Like, that's why I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
hey, thanks so much for Tracy L and your super chat to Metrix for the neon pink computer. Love your show, and you. We love you too. Thank you, Tracy.
Dan's so happy with how the case is going.
Right.
Like, saying to me each step of the way, okay, if I knew, if you asked me a week ago if I was going to be in this place at this point in the case, would I be happy? He goes, I'd be ecstatic. And then, like, literally, like, after I testified, he he was like, we're going to win this case. We're going to win. I mean, when they did their opening, he wrote on a piece of paper to me with a marker. He writes, "We will win."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Kate, like, look, the worst you're going to do is a hung jury. The worst you're going to do is a hung jury. And I'm thinking, like, look, we had a good jury consultant, get good people. Dan's an awesome closer. Like, we're going to be kicking some ass and closing. He always says his strength is closing. His strength is closing. And now it's like in a fucking suicide. Blood on the walls and shit on the ceiling. Literally, feces all over the place. The sergeant said they're going to clean it after I get out of here.
It's amazing to me that they're going on about Daniel Rashbaum's closing. I think I'd quite like to do a what is that thing called? Grading of Daniel Rashbaum. I've seen that done with like other stuff. Because it was a shit closing. Does that make any sense? He just listed the state's evidence and appended it with, does that make any sense? It was terrible. It was boring. It was shit. It was worthless. The jury didn't give a shit. Then Georgia came back for the rebuttal and just did a fucking perfect game. Yeah, okay, we really are going to go now. Many thanks to all the supporters and the super chatters, the super sticker givers, the super coffee go-getters, and the bulletproof Metrix moderators. We'll be back tomorrow, folks. Good night, y'all.